But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. That's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's going on, guys? It is Thursday night, and of course, that's one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. We do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And what are those things, you may ask? You may wonder. Well, let me explain. No, too much. Allow me to sum up. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. That probably sums it up. Now, the thing is, too, with this show, it's about you. It's about us. It's about the right to be wrong. It's about religion. It's about science. It's about all those things as they come together in one fantastic place. And, of course, this is a conversation. This isn't a show. This is a conversation between friends. And that's what this has always been. That's what this will always be. Because, well, like I always say, as part of Troubled Minds here, and the whole idea is that I don't have any inside sources. I don't know anything additional or extra or any of the rest of that. So nobody tells me anything. Well, except for you guys. And that's the entire idea here, is getting together and just discussing what you've heard, what you've seen, your personal experiences. Why do you not believe in the things that we talk about? And you don't. It's not even about belief, really. That's probably a poor word, because we were talking last night on the chat a little bit. What's up? Shout out to Lily and Jennifer if you're out there. What's going on? We were, just a little conversation on the Discord, and it's not about the answers. The questions are the answers, and what that means is that if you ask the right questions, you're going to get individual different answers. But I think the closer you zoom in those questions to the more important things in life, the more important things in pretty much everything, I think that you get closer to whatever that truth may be. And I'm not saying this is ever going to be an arbiter of truth type of show. Like I say, I think the truth is propaganda. I think the truth is sloppy. I think the truth is clumsy, let's say. Clumsy's better than sloppy. And the truth is basically a lie wrapped in a Christmas sweet package. And that's why this isn't about the truth. This is about you. This is about us. And that's just a conversation. So that's my long-winded way of saying that we're doing this live. We're taking your phone calls tonight, and as we do every time we do this, because it's called transparency. It's one of those situations where, like I always say, try and call a propagandist while he's propagandizing. You'll never interrupt Don Lemon or Sean Hannity in the middle of their diatribes because you're not allowed to. They don't want to divert every precious brainwash moment to take your phone call. Well, this isn't brainwashing. It's, again, a conversation. So we're streaming live on, of course, Rockfin, YouTube, D Live, and Twitter. And we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM per usual. And tonight we're going to be talking about gold. All right, gold. Not necessarily, and yes, inclusive of alchemical properties of gold. We've talked about this in the past, but there's an interesting discovery that just happened recently regarding mummies and their tongues of gold. So we'll get to that shortly, and hang tight for that. But if you want to be part of the show tonight, just to give you a primer on what we're talking about, that's what we're talking about tonight. If you want to be part of the show, you can reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. Easy as that. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on the show that way as well. Discord's a chat client. It's a voice client. You can old school type. You can share links and photographs and ideas, and it's a voice thing too. We use it for the talk show. We've always used Discord for the talk show itself. So there's a lot of good stuff with it. Like I said, we're not sponsored by Discord. It's just an amazing program. It's one of those things, new technology that's bringing people together. So do check it out. We also have another Discord server running at fringe.fm/chat. Fringe.fm/chat. That will give you a direct invite. And there you go. Easy as that. One last thing. If you want to listen to the easiest way to listen to Troubled Minds, you're on the road or something, you can't fire up your stream or whatever, just download the Fringe app. Fringe.fm is the website, the app you can find for free on the Apple iTunes or the Android app stores. So there you go. Just at precisely 7:05 Monday through Thursday, just smash the play button on the app and you will get Fringe FM and, of course, Troubled Minds along with it, and all the amazing program that also accompanies Troubled Minds. So, okay, one quick thing, too. I want to do this just... Well, happy holidays, all right? I'm going to preface it with this, and that, in every year, everybody gets a little bit older. Things change. As the seasons change, we also, different families are in different levels of need. And I started to bring this up last night, and I thought it was a little bit sloppy, and I didn't want to do it. So I just wanted to have it properly set up to be able to talk about this just briefly. And here's the thing. Like I said previously, we have a member of the Troubled Minds family, okay? Her name is Zai, and she's been working with Troubled Minds for quite a while now, and she's as instrumental in the success of this show as anybody, because while I'm here on the microphone doing the thing and you guys are having a conversation and we're having a good time, she's sort of the Troubled Minds fairy dust sprinkler all over the internet. She's out there dropping links on Reddit. She's dropping links on the Facebook. She's every single live show, she's there behind the scenes, just sort of spreading the idea of what a troubled mind is out there. Because, of course, this stuff needs to be done. It's a marketing thing. And she's a very kind young lady and very gracious, and she works very hard. Her family has come on some rough times. And so here's the thing. I never ask, okay? There's a reason I never ask. I don't want this to be one of those situations where you tune in and it's always a downer because I'm asking for this need or that need. But she is a very close member of the Troubled Minds family. It's been around with us for a very long time. And her mother, unfortunately, was diagnosed with cancer recently. And cancer is one of those things that it hates humanity. It's the natural enemy of humanity. And it's struck her mother and their family pretty hard this holiday season. So here's a link. I'm going to put a link in the chats if you guys can. So she does live in the Philippines, and she has the Filipino money. I don't know exactly what it's called. I think it's pesos, I believe. But because of the rate of the dollar versus the Filipino peso, even a few bucks would make a huge difference in trying to get her her mother treated for cancer. So I just want to point this out. And if you guys, you have a few bucks to spare, even a few bucks really helps. And I would appreciate very much if you guys consider this. And I'm going to drop it in the chat. All the links. The link is actually down there in the chat as well. So like I said, she's been great. She's been a part of the Troubled Minds family for a long time. And what's going on with a lot of the marketing stuff is from her. If you see links out there being shared, well, no, I don't have 10 hands. I have great help and people who've been with us for a long time doing this. So there you go. So she's trying to raise money for her mother's cancer treatment, and I would appreciate that. So I'll leave it at that. I'll mention a couple times tonight just to remind you, in case, again, it's always not required, but if you could spare a few bucks, I would appreciate it very much. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, so let's get to this then. Thank you for considering that. I appreciate that. Okay, so this is the thing. Let's get to this. This is the Yahoo News story that brought us here tonight. All right, this is the craziest thing. The headline reads this. All right, golden-tongued mummies might have talked with ancient gods. All right, and I don't know what to make of this other than. Let's read some of this. There's a whole lot here. Right? So we've talked in the past about all kinds of things, about maybe communing with nature spirits, maybe contacting Lovecraftian old ones, things like this, right? Opening up portals through some sort of ritual, something or other. But this one's a little strange. This one's sort of in line with all the rest of that strangeness, but it is strange. So let's read a little bit from this article. Here we go. If ancient Egyptian mummies weren't already mysterious and intriguing enough, the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities announced this week that 2 golden-tongued mummies, one male, one female, had been unearthed at a site in Mimya, Egypt, Mimya. This dehydrated couple joins another gold-tongued mummy from the Taposiris Magna Temple in Alexandria, whose existence was revealed back in February. As strange as they may seem, the discovery of these valuable bodily modifications may help answer the question: how did ancient people talk to the gods? Yeah, how did ancient people talk to the gods? Now, this is wild. This gets wild, all right? This is one of those ones where you scratch your head a little bit, drink some maybe juice, and hopefully you're in a warm spot right now and everything's going well for you. Happy holidays, etc. Check this out. The 2,500-year-old mummies were found as part of an excavation led by the University of Barcelona. Their tombs were found in El Banasa, or as it was known in Antiquity, the city of Oxyrhynchus, Oxyrhynchus. Say that 3 times fast. The tomb of the male is particularly important because it is still sealed. Esther Pons Malado, one of the co-directors of the archaeological mission from the University of Barcelona, told The National that it is extremely rare to find undisturbed tombs. And so there you go. You got some images of the actual golden tongues on these mummies, right? 3 gold foil tongues were found buried with the mummies. And there's your photograph. Like, what the heck is this about? The limestone tomb included a scarab amulet, canopic jars used as a part of the mummification process, 400 small earthenware figures, and the golden tongue, which was still in the mummified man's mouth. All right. The identity of the male has not yet been determined, but archaeologists are hopeful that when the accompanying inscriptions are deciphered, they will have a better sense of who he once was. The quartz tomb of the woman had been disturbed, and as a result, the items inside were in poor condition. Her golden tongue, however, was still lodged in her mouth. A third, smaller golden-tongued amulet, once the property of a 3-year-old child, was also discovered. Now, this gets weird. This is okay. So now we'll start here. That's where what the heck? This is where we're beginning. This idea of the golden-tongued mummies. Okay, and what does it mean? I don't know. I kind of don't know. There you go. What's up, Night Stalker? I see you out there. Probably some type of ritual punishment, I bet. Right? Maybe. There you go. Robert saw the sidebar. Barbara Eden at 50. Okay, anyway. So the strangeness, there's a lot of strangeness here, right? Thank you, Jay Winch. I appreciate that. There's a lot of strangeness here, okay? With this, in that they're this is the thing. They're considering, the hypothesis is this, that the golden tongue, the foiled tongue that they put in the mouth of the mummies at burial, they're saying are allowed or are allowing these deceased individuals to converse with the gods. To converse with the gods. Osiris, of all folks, right? Of all fine godlike folks. But, right? So, okay. And it got me thinking in terms of, all right, not just this weirdness with the mummies and the ritual and the tongue and the gold and the whole thing, right? We've talked about the mummification, burial rituals and a lot of this in the past. And it's pretty wild, right? Like all kinds of things considering, immortality in that they're trying to preserve the DNA as long as possible. To what end? And, all of this, the ritual with who knows what's really going on. Is this, like we've talked about, is this life the actual thing, or is like the actual part, the after party is the afterlife is the real party? You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So I guess it depends. It just depends on not just the ritual situation here, but it depends on the aim of the individuals involved, including the burial the folks that have been buried and mummified, and of course the people in the of the priesthood that were actually carrying out these rituals for whatever reason, right? We got a couple good sayings here that actually did come to mind, except for Daryl there. Daryl's ahead of the game. I did think of one previously. I've heard of a silver-tongued devil, right? I've heard of that, but I've never heard of a gold-tongued mummy. and so I did think of that one, but then this one I didn't. Daryl says, put your money where your mouth is. Indeed. What's up, Daryl? I see you out there. How are you? And yes, okay, so this is strange, all right? So then not only is it they're finding this, and it is clearly some sort of bizarre ritualistic thing, it's more of they think it was a way for the deceased to actually converse with the gods, all right, with Osiris in particular in this case. And it makes you go, well, what? Why? What? It's just strange. It's one of those strange things where you're like, what? But then it got me thinking, right? As usual, I start thinking, I put on the thinking cap and I turn on a nice little warm shower, and that's my best thinking time. I just hang out in the water for a second with soap in my hair, and I start thinking. I'm like, all right, what is this gold and the tongue and I was like, wait a minute, there's some parallels here in history, right? There's some parallels here. In particular, just one that came to mind almost immediately was the Ark of the Covenant. All right, in that not maybe necessarily putting the gold in the mouth, right, to be able to speak, but they say that the Ark of the Covenant was actually a communication device to speak with God. You guys have heard of the Holy of Holies and the mercy seat, and that's where God would actually manifest on that one day of atonement, one time per year, right? And if you didn't carry out the exact ritual specifications of the high priest, only the high priest could enter the Holy of Holies, only on a particular day, and only if he had done a particular set of rituals. Otherwise, he would be stricken dead. All right? So, but the thing that made me wonder, it's like, okay, hold on. So we have a gold connection here, right? And that's when I started thinking. I was like, okay, hold on. So we have the Ark of the Covenant was made of acacia wood, all right? But it was covered in a thin sheet of hammered gold. All right. And so on top of this, they had the cherubim facing each other with the wings. All right. And that was what is known as the mercy seat. And in that is where they said God would manifest one time per year on the Day of Atonement and communicate with the high priest. All right. And think about it. So now we're talking about a golden device used specifically to communicate with God himself. All right. And that parallel right there is one of those things where you're like, okay, that seems to track, right? That tracks. But then this, even crazier. Golden-tongued mummies might have talked with ancient gods. And what they're doing is they're describing this this golden foil tongue situation as exactly something like that. In the afterlife, when they pass over, they're able to actually converse with Osiris because they've been given these golden tongues, all right? Pretty nuts how this goes. And of course, it got me thinking, of course, of alchemy and the alchemical tradition. We've talked about that in the past. Not just silver, gold, and some other things, but there's a whole lot of bizarre rituals regarding gold in history. How about this? How about another one came to mind as I was thinking about this? The Anunnaki story, right? They say that the Anunnaki had a situation on their home planet, and they needed gold, and they found it here. It was safer to mine gold here than it was from the asteroid belt because it was so dangerous and difficult to do. And so they say, according to Zachariah Sitchin in his translations of those Sumerian tablets, Sumerian, Assyrian, I can't remember. But anyway, so I think that's the crazy part here, right? So they came to Earth to mine gold. All right, mine gold. So there's some really strangeness here. So we're not only talking like the Ark of the Covenant, the gold communicating with God. We're talking about these golden-tongued mummies now, where they say that they were put into their mouth so they could, in particular, communicate personally with Osiris himself in the afterlife. And without it, they're speculating that, well, you may not be able to communicate with the golden ones or the gods themselves, right? So I don't know. It's a little bit strange here how this begins and how I start to think and consider of where this goes. There's a lot here. Also, so not only that, here's another one. L. Ron Hubbard. You guys know L. Ron Hubbard, right? That's right. The dude who started Scientology. That guy, the guy who wrote some science fiction stuff. Interestingly, he wrote a book called Battlefield Earth. Back in 1982 was when it was released. And in that story itself, wouldn't you know it, and it's the year 3000 on Earth, and it's post-apocalyptic. However, aliens have landed and are using human slaves to mine gold. Weird, right? Weird. I don't know what's going on with this. There's a whole lot of this stuff. Consider, what about the story of El Dorado and the golden priest that they would when they ascended to that priesthood, and they were the high priest of the tribe. I can't remember the name of this tribe. It's just hip shooting here a little bit, so bear with me. I'll find this link to prove it. But they would put the individual in a cave to fast for how many days, and give him these golden items. And when he emerged from the cave, no eating, no drinking, no fasting, or all fasting, sorry, he would come out and they would cover him with a dusted gold. And what he would do is they would take him out into this lake and they would submerge him, where he would throw the gold into the lake as offerings, the golden devices, plus wash the golden dust off of his body. Right? And they said that in the lake itself were the gods, and it was a tribute to the gods. So I don't know. There's a whole lot of weirdness with this gold stuff. So we're going to get into more of this. This golden-tongued mummies might have talked with ancient gods. This just happened. This was just released. This was just a couple days ago. It's dated December 22nd. And I don't know. So it's got me thinking, right? So the question tonight is this. Yeah, agreed, Robert. Worst John Travolta movie ever. That Battlefield Earth was horrific. That movie was terrible. But the question is this. Is there a connection here between communicating with the gods and some sort of a ritual use of gold? That's what I want to know. That's what's on my mind tonight. There's a whole lot here behind this and a whole lot to consider and talk about, but that's what we're doing tonight. I don't know. I hope the holidays find you well. I hope everybody's safe and warm and happy and just at peace. Just peace be unto you. And, well, let's get into more of this gold stuff and see what the hell's going on here. There you go. If you want to be part of the show tonight, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this golden-tongued mummy, or mummies plural, that they say used these golden tongues to converse, to communicate directly with Osiris himself. I don't know. Do you think there are connections throughout history? Do you think there's something weird with this? What in the world is going on? I don't have any answers. I only have more questions. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And love to hear your thoughts. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More mummies, golden tongues, and silver-tongued devils when we return. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter. And we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And tonight, we're taking your phone calls as we discuss these golden-tongued mummies. Do you think there's some sort of ritual, ancient ritual, that allows people to commune with the gods? And does it involve gold? That's what's on my mind tonight. What are your thoughts here? Is this a situation where, again, damn it, Michael Strange, you've gone a step too far once again? Or is this right in the Troubled Minds pocket? I'd love to hear your thoughts if you want to be part of the show tonight. You can reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll put you on the show. Easy as that. Thank you again to anybody out there that's donated to the GoFundMe for Zai's mother. Appreciate that very much. Okay, so let's get back to this. Now, it got me thinking in terms of, like I said, communing with the gods and some sort of gold ritual, all right? And you think in terms of just humanity forever, basically, and riches have meant gold, right? Even though there's some peculiarities, can I say it, about gold, right? There's some strange things, some oddities in that, right? It's not particularly it can be used as a weapon, right? As far as metals go, it's a very soft metal. It's very malleable. You can't turn it into like any kind of effective weapon in terms of like cutting or slicing or piercing or things like this. But, right, it's still one of the most coveted things even now. Even now, we're talking way back to the ancient times. What they have, it was gold, 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 right? You look at the mummies and you look at King Tut and his sarcophagus. What is it? You got it, hammered gold. And so in some way, it seems like there's something to this. And all that gold and these pharaohs' tombs and all the rest of this stuff, are they trying to maybe use it as an antenna to contact God, sort of in a radio sort of situation? You know what I mean? Is there something to this? Ritual-wise, otherwise, scientifically? I don't know. There's some weird stuff about gold that we're going to talk about in just a minute here. But that's the thing. It perplexes me a little bit in that it seems to be a recurring theme, all right, where they use gold in a ritual manner to contact the gods. And doesn't that suggest... I don't know. What does that suggest? I don't know. It confuses me a little bit because it's not just one culture. It's in all cultures, all over antiquity. I'm pretty sure there's not a single culture that I can think of anyway. Maybe there is. Making huge sweeping statements like that is usually bad. But let's say not that I can think of where they were like, meh, gold, whatever. Like they didn't care. Right? It was like everything was, producing gold, finding gold, doing all the rest of that. And what I mean by producing is, the metallurgy process to make it into whatever. So I don't know. There's seems something odd. So back to this real quick. Golden-tongued mummies might have talked with the ancient gods, and let's get to the result here in the bottom of this. This gets strange. Damn it! Really. This Yahoo News is really great. It just jumps articles right when you don't want it to. Perfect. Okay, anyway, now this is wild. Check this out. It gets even crazier, right? And this is what they're suggesting. While the Egyptian ministry's statement did not specify the purpose of these golden tongues, the ministry had previously stated with respect to the temple tomb that golden tongues were meant to enable the deceased to speak to the god Osiris in the afterlife. They were... Check this out. This gets weird. They were, in our modern parlance, a kind of prosthetic or technological device that could enable the wearer to be understood by the gods. In ancient Egyptian theories of the afterlife, in which the righteousness of the deceased was assessed by the gods after death, the ability to converse with one's judges would have been especially important. Is that how you make your case to the gods? With a golden tongue. And as it is, like I said, we've heard of a silver-tongued devil, but if we heard of a golden-tongued arbitrator, a golden-tongued lawyer, ooh, that just sounds all kinds of backwards and upside down. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. You tell me, but isn't that strange? In modern parlance, they're saying that these golden tongues found on these mummies were a kind of prosthetic or technological device that could enable the wearer to be understood by the gods themselves. And in this case, of course, Osiris. So is that strange? Is that strange? I think it's strange. I think it's one of those things where, like I said, and you can, again, we'll get to the Ark of the Covenant a little bit later and get to that in depth. But it is said on the mercy seat, it's where God actually appeared to the high priest. And what was the Ark of the Covenant, the acacia wood ark covered in? Yeah, hammered gold, thin sheets of gold. So is it some sort of antenna, some way to contact the greater spiritual entities, the gods, as it were? So there we go. What are your thoughts? Am I, again, too far? Have I gone too far this time? Damn it, Michael Strange. Now you've done it. Now you've really done it. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Watching all the chats and all the places. Keep the great thoughts coming, guys. I appreciate it very much. Let's go to our good friend Joe in Florida. Welcome to the show. How are you, my man?
Not too bad. How's everybody doing tonight?
A-okay. A-okay here. Go right ahead. What do you think about this golden tongue stuff and maybe communing with the gods?
I think it's a great subject. It was new to me tonight. But I, Googled a couple of things here in a quick study. And, bringing up the Ark of the Covenant and all these other things. Gold is also a good shield against radiation. And, if I remember my biblical TV shows, when Moses came down, from talking with God, his hair was white. So it always makes me wonder if there was radiation. If the portrayal, or if the actual video from the time, which it's a joke, but anyway, if the portrayal was correct, that he spoke with God through the ark, or through the box, or whatever, the burning bush. Radiation, gold is a shield, gold can be a conductor. Reading a little bit real quick, limited information on the article, was that embalmers place gold in the mouth. And just what you were alluding to, there's a very good scene in American Gods in the first season where one of the people dies, and she dies of a drug overdose, huffing or whatever, and she shows up before Anubis. And, this is where your heart may be lighter than a feather. And you just kind of hit on it, which was kind of pretty neat as I was calling. But she tries to plead her case in the show. And basically, she fails. And the God is like, I'm going to have you, and I'm going to take your soul. And your soul is going to be spent doing the thing that killed you. And doing drugs. In the TV show, however, she escapes his clutches. The Egyptians, we know they had a lot of funeral customs. So, take it or leave it, like you said, a lot of maybe juice. Maybe they used something that we didn't. Maybe they used something that was similar to the Bible, like you said, gold, as a communication device or some kind of antenna. I don't know. So I don't want to ramble too long. Just for that call and try to get you started. But, gold has a lot of symbolism. We all know that. Gold used to back our money and a lot of money, and gold does not back that anymore. Why is that? If it's true, there's only enough gold in the world. I've heard this. I don't know if anybody could check it, but there's probably only enough gold supposedly in the world to fill an Olympic pool. I don't know. And supposedly there's none at Fort Knox. So, very precious, very valuable. Why would they put it in somebody's mouth? Well, maybe because they had money. And in every culture, there's always been a caste system of some type. I don't know that I find it unusual that they put gold in their mouths, but I will take the maybe juice on my far-off thought.
Okay, perfect.
If the pyramids were not built,
Go ahead.
I'll give you my far off thought on this one. I'll give you a far off thought. If the pyramids were not built by us, or if they were built by us, but we had help from something else, maybe that was the way it was communicated.
Okay, I like it. Before you go, great point there with the Moses and the burning bush, and he came down with white hair and with like what appeared to be some sort of radiation poisoning. I wonder if that gold and the radiation shield is exactly what we're talking about. Maybe this is exactly the thing that in the presence of the divine, mere mortals are just sort of wilted, like getting too close to the sun, sort of like what was it, Icarus, and flying too close to the sun with his wax wings, right? Maybe something like that. Yep. That's pretty wild. I love the thought.
Well, it makes me wonder. I've said this on the show before, but e pluribus unum, a lot of our infrastructure, money, all the symbolism really is occult Egyptian. And I always say, we can talk about shadow governments and all these things, but I always wondered, I know a president has a lot of stress, but I always wondered why some presidents, Obama, the last two, take it or leave it because they're already older, but it always seemed like a politician might come with the best offerings for the people. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I think they get shown something and they age, or they can't take what they're shown.
What if?
Threatened by either that or they're threatened by the mafia, or they're threatened by the mafia that we're going to kill their whole family. But it would seem that after 48 years, we've had presidents that go in with regular colored hair and their hair is freaking white. So you wonder if there is an ancient bloodline, if there is something that's gone from the magicians of old in Egypt all the way down the line that has maintained power quietly. We've had this conversation before. And, it's sitting right there in front of our Western world, our presidents, our leaders. The only reason why it doesn't happen in China is because the Chinese are godless. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I like the I don't knows, but I do love the ideas. Amazing stuff here. A radiation shield from the divine. And I like how you work the presidents in there that go in there and come out with white hair. Interesting. You're killing me, Joe. You're killing me in a good way. Killing me softly with your song, sir.
So anyway, hope that gets it started. Everybody have a good whatever you believe in. So I don't offend anybody, and nobody calls Michael Strange's HR department. But
nobody's answering that phone, by the way.
I could call after midnight, But I always love learning something a little bit new, and I didn't have a lot of chance to scour the Yahoo News tabloid today, but you picked a good one, and I'm enjoying it. So thank you.
Nice, I appreciate it. Happy holidays to you and your family, my friend. Always a pleasure. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, brother.
Good night.
Thank you. There you go. Easy as that. Appreciate the phone call. If you want to be part of this discussion tonight, we're talking about this. Golden-tongued mummies might have talked with the ancient gods. Some pretty amazing points there by Joe, especially, right? Maybe there's some sort of, when we commune with the divine, there's a radiation situation happening. And if you don't shield particular parts of your body, let's say your tongue in this case, then you will be unable to speak. Maybe. I love the maybe juice. Good stuff. Also, a pretty wild take there with the presidents going to office and they come out with gray hair like they're communing with something, let's say otherworldly, and maybe getting prematurely aged as a result of not just the stress, but maybe they're tuning in to something somewhere else. I love it. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. What's up? Catalina says, hi, Michael. ETs have loved gold and came to Earth to mine it. It's a major trading commodity in the universe. There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And we'll get to the Anunnaki story in a little bit as well, because it does seem odd that almost in every culture all the way back, not just like earthly cultures. We're talking about now in the Anunnaki story, they were said to have come to Earth to mine for gold, which seems strange, right? That seems strange to me. It seems odd. What's up? Malorcus 45 says, I wish I could stay up and join, but I'm too tired. Merry Christmas, Michael. Nice hearing you on Ryan's show, The Secret Teachings. I did call into Ryan's show last night, so I'm going to make some ninja guest appearances on the Ryan Gable show, The Secret Teachings. So if you haven't been listening to that, well, I've been making an appearance here or there, and he can't stop me because he's got an open phone line, so I can just dial the damn number. Not that he wanted to stop me. I'm just kidding. But you can't stop me. You can only hope to contain me. But in any case, so that's what we're talking about tonight. Strange, right? Strange how we have exactly maybe Moses in the burning bush, and he comes down and he's got white hair and he seems to be prematurely aged and even have radiation burns or poisoning. But then, well, we have this weird stuff with the Ark of the Covenant and the gold, the hammered gold that covers the mercy seat, where God is supposedly comes down to present himself and commune with the high priest, all right, in the Temple of Jerusalem, right? The old temple. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot here, especially in that it's not just this Egyptian thing that we're beginning with, the mummification process, the golden tongue here to converse with the gods. Maybe the golden stuff, the golden whatever this is, like they're saying it's some sort of technological device that would allow them to speak with the god. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's what? And that's the question tonight. If you're loving this, give us a call. Love to hear. What's up, Robert, in the chat over on Rockfin says, Joe Biden will turn bald. There it is. There it is. All right, so that's what we're doing tonight. I don't know. So a little bit more from this. This is pretty strange, right? So, one more time. This is the important part of this article. So they found these two Egyptian mummies that had golden tongues, all right? And not just golden, they were sort of like golden foil and covered their tongues and, literally inserted into their mouth sort of situation in the mummification process. And we've talked about the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the mummification processes on this show. And it doesn't seem to be an accident. It seems like these rituals were set up for a lot of things, right? For some sort of immortality things, to go over into the afterlife, with all of their earthly possessions, if possible, all the rest of this stuff, weigh their heart against a feather, like Joe was saying, all the rest of these things in judgment. But now, this extra layer is, if you put this gold thing into their mouth, this gold tongue, as it were, it allows them, I guess, maybe to speak on their own behalf. So I wonder if, in terms of maybe if they were guilty or something and they needed to plead their case further, they would cover their tongue in gold, so they could speak to the gods, right? Instead of the god already knowing when you arrived. There's an actual, oh, by the way, sir, there's one more thing that you need to know before you condemn me to the lake of fire. And it's this. Maybe, I don't know. Just speculating, just considering all the things. But here's the important part from this article. And the thing that made me raise my eyebrow and go, oh, I see. This seems like it belongs on Troubled Minds. Here it is, straight from the article, and right as I go to read it, it always switches to this other article. So let's go back. There we go. Thank goodness for the back button. All right, and let's find the passage here that I was about to read. Well, the Egyptian ministry's statement did not specify the purpose of these golden tongues. The ministry had previously stated with respect to the temple tomb that the golden tongues were meant to enable the deceased to speak to the god Osiris in the afterlife. They were, in our modern parlance, a kind of prosthetic or technological device that could enable the wearer to be understood by the gods. In ancient Egyptian theories of the afterlife, in which the righteousness of the deceased was assessed by the gods after death, the ability to converse with one's judges would have been especially important. So I wonder if they committed some heinous crime on earth and needed to plead their case in a justifiable manner to the gods. Maybe they spent a little extra on the burial and put some gold on their tongue. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts here? Lots to consider, lots to think about. And if this is the same sort of story that goes back to the ancient days of the Anunnaki, why were they here mining gold? Is it, again, some sort of way for them to commune with whatever they were communing with? You tell me. You tell me. I have no idea. Not the answers guy. I am the questions guy. But yeah, lots of stuff here. Lots of stuff going on. And I I don't know. I hope the holiday season finds you well and everybody's family's doing okay. And in that vein, one more time, I'm going to mention this as we go, just a couple more times tonight. I don't want to turn this into something to turn you off, but I appreciate people are donating to the GoFundMe for Zai's mother, who just came down with cancer. I appreciate that quite a lot, and she's trying to get treatment, and they're trying to raise some funds to get her treatment actually in process. So I'm going to link this in the chat one more time, and I would appreciate it if you guys could just spare a few bucks. Like I said, she's been an employee for Troubled Minds for a very long time, spreading Troubled Minds fairy dust all over the internet. And unfortunately, her mom came down with cancer recently. So just like I always say, I'm me, you're you, but together we're us. And I'm going to donate to that fund as well. I haven't just yet, but I will. I'll do it tonight as soon as we get off the show. But the thing is this, right? It's like I said, cancer is one of those things that it's just not. It is the enemy of humanity, and it's a horrific thing. And yeah. Where are we at time-wise? Make sure we're okay. So I'll get that link and I'll share it. Okay, so that's what's going on tonight. We're talking about this bizarre thing, this weird thing with these ancient mummies and the gold ritual in their tongue. I see you, Joseph. I don't want to take your call this second because we're about to go to a commercial. So hang tight, and then we'll get to you when we come back at the top of the hour. So just FYI, I'm not ignoring you. I see you. I'll just, I don't want to have you start and then stop. So, okay, so I don't know. Is there something to this, to some sort of gold alchemical thing or magic device or something or other that allows these mummies, these Egyptian mummies, or any other thing to communicate with the gods themselves? In this case, they say that the Egyptian mummies had gold on their tongue to communicate with Osiris in the afterlife, and possibly, in speculation, I do like the maybe Jew speculation, in that they needed to plead their case to the gods themselves. Maybe they committed some sort of atrocity on earth, but there was a moral reason for it. And maybe they wanted to plead their case to the gods. And, well, maybe the golden tongue. Let's see. I'll take a break, top of the hour. So, let's aim for you about maybe 15 after, if you want to do that. Or it's up to you, Derek, if you want to wait till the bottom of the hour. That's cool, too. It's totally up to you. You let me know. No sweat. All right, so that's what we're doing tonight. That's what we're talking about. Let me get this link for the fundraiser for Zai and her mom and the cancer treatment. I appreciate that. And let's go. Let's keep on doing what we're doing, talking about all kinds of crazy stuff, because this is Troubled Minds after all. So let's do it. And once again, this is a conversation about the ancients. But as we talk about things like this, you can't actually consider the ancients are so much different than ourselves. And so my question tonight is this: do you think that gold itself, ritual or otherwise, technological, whatever this happens to be, is used in some manner to commune with the gods themselves? Love to hear your thoughts. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More Egyptian mummies, gold, and communing with the gods when we return. Be right back. We are talking about the alien abduction phenomenon.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing that. And through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People are random images as they traverse neurons in the brain.
So maybe,
and they also feel them planting or receiving memories or ideas or images.
just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Yo ho, and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and this is a show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are: aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We got a doozy for you tonight. Yep, a couple Egyptian mummies were discovered with golden tongues. And of course, the implication is they were put there in a ritual manner to allow them to converse with the gods themselves, Osiris specifically. But the question tonight is this: do you think there's some sort of actual link here between the properties of gold and possibly communing with higher entities? All right, that could be gods, that could be whatever you expect them to be. Hang tight, Daryl. We'll get with you in just a sec here. And so what we're doing tonight is... hold on. Let me do this. Let's mute that. All right. I'll get to you in just a sec, Daryl. So the thing is this, right? That's the question. That's what we're talking about tonight. It's pretty bizarre that there's some links here. Again, Moses in the burning bush comes down, looks like he has radiation poisoning and white hair, brought up by Joe in the call just a little while ago. We also have this situation with maybe the mercy seat and the Ark of the Covenant, where God himself was said to commune down between the two cherubim angels on the wings themselves on the Day of Atonement once per year. But that the Ark of the Covenant itself was also covered in hammered thin sheets of gold. So it makes you wonder, right? Is there an actual maybe some sort of symbiosis here with gold itself, and then some sort of communing with higher spirits, the gods themselves, or what have you? So that's what's on my mind tonight. And as we do this, we're hanging out, doing our thing, and we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We're streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, D Live, and Twitter, broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and that's what's up. Real quick, before we get to the phone call here with Daryl, just want to point this out as well. We do have a member of the Troubled Minds team that needs some help. I've got a GoFundMe here for Zai, who's been working for Troubled Minds for quite some time now. She sprinkles fairy dust all over, Troubled Minds fairy dust all over the internet, and she's been fantastic and hardworking, fantastic young lady. But unfortunately, her mother just came down with cancer, and they're looking for some extra funds to fund her mother's cancer treatment. So, like I said, cancer is the basically the enemy of humankind. So if you could spare a few bucks in this holiday season, she does live in the Philippines, so the dollar to peso exchange is pretty good. So even a few bucks would help. I appreciate that very much. If you guys could spare just a few dollars, that would be fantastic. But okay, so let's do it. We're talking about all the rest of this stuff, all this craziness, including, well, the mummies. The mummies from yahoo.com. Golden-tongued mummies might have talked with ancient gods. Uh-oh. What do you think that means? Let's go to Daryl in New York. Daryl, welcome to the show. Are you there? Test 1, 2.
Hi, Michael. I love this topic. I love gold, first of all. Who doesn't love gold?
Right? Exactly. It's almost like it's calling to us, isn't it?
No, gold is like the best metal because it's always like... It's in metal form. It's like it lasts forever. I think it's just like it's perfect. It's gold is gold. It's like solid. I don't think it could rot or decay. It must take a zillion years before anything happens to it, like negatively, unless you do something alchemically wise, which has been done. And gold doesn't always appear in its form of gold on this planet. There's something else. I'm going to talk about this because it has something to do with they found this gold called ormus, or they they do something alchemically, actually, and it was used to treat Morgellons. So again, a Morgellons thing. Let me just find this thing because I was just looking it up. Monoatomic. Wait, I just had the way to say it. Ormus stands for. Wait, it's a different kind of body. It's a different kind of gold. And the thing when they do something to the gold to reduce it to a very fine powder. This is what I think. Maybe it was the Anunnaki that had come here from a different planet because they knew we had a lot of gold. But there was a risk to come here because once they came here, I think they acclimated too much, and they got. I think something happened to their bodies. Like they got transhumanized. You know, there's something happened to their bodies where they were too heavy and they couldn't get on their spaceship and fly back from something with the gravity, or maybe they were too big, or they were giants. I think they were a lot larger than maybe we think. You know, and I was just looking at some photographs of giants that were like alive long enough to have black and white photographs of all over the world. So they've been, not that long ago. It seems like we might have eradicated them. But apparently they were here for the gold and the gold dust, and they thought it was something to do with immortality. But, it kind of was a double whammy because once they found the gold that they thought they could bring back to their planet, they couldn't leave here because of something to do with our gravity. I don't know. But when the Egyptians were the only people to use gold, there was in China, of course, an emperor that also manipulated gold, and they used like all kinds of stuff. But once you reduce it to once you do something to it alchemically, it gets to such small particles that it no longer has the toxicity of a heavy metal when it's turned into that fine powder. That it's actually, ingestible, and it can help with your, it's like an antibiotic sort of thing. It can kill a lot of bacteria, supposedly. Wait, I just wanted to find that the monoatomic gold, Ormus. It's a high-temperature superconductor. It can be manufactured alchemically out of 24-karat metallic gold, but it also occurs naturally in minute amounts of volcanic soil. But a fellow in the United States discovered on his farm, he had tons of this stuff. I think his name was David Hudson, and he was like, he just was like a millionaire from it. It wasn't like gold like we know it. It's like he had the gold in like its different form that can be turned easily into the Ormus. And it stands for Orbitally Rearranged Monoatomic Elements, Ormus, or ORMES. And they include metals like gold, platinum, iridium, and others. So it changes their chemical makeup, but, it's not, it's safe to ingest, But I think in China, they were playing around with it, and they can be poisonous. You have to be very careful on ingesting this kind of stuff, because you can have a bad mixture. And also, I wanted to bring up a few things. The Army just came out, believe it or not, with a ferritin nanoparticle vaccine, a spiked ferritin made out of iron. So they're playing with this kind of alchemy as well. I don't know how, safe it is, but it might work in the way that the gold did, I'm not sure. I just saw the article on the U.S. military to roll out spiked ferritin nanoparticle COVID vaccine, SPFN. So a new way to make, experiment on humans, right?
That's pretty wild. Wait, so does this relate back to the whole communing with the gods type of thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to go back to that.
Okay.
So speaking in tongue, you know how they say talking about speaking in tongue?
Yep.
Like when you're talking to God? I don't know if you've ever heard somebody speak in tongue. I've heard both people speaking in tongue and then people that can talk to aliens. I don't know if you've ever heard. Have you ever heard anyone talk in the alien language?
Never. No, not personally, or I haven't seen any of that on YouTube either. I have seen people speak in tongues on videos, but I've never actually been. I'm sorry to disappoint most of you. I'm not a church type, so but I've seen videos of that happening. Yes.
Well, I tell you, I saw it when I was a lot younger. A friend of mine was saved. She was a Jesus. They called them Jesus freaks back in my day, and she got saved, and she was talking in tongues. Nice Jewish girl from where I grew up in Queens, and I couldn't believe what she sounded like. I was mesmerized. Like, she definitely was speaking a different language. And then I heard recently, somebody that could talk to aliens, and they talk in this alien language. And I got to tell you, they sound very similar. So I don't know if it's like getting on a vibration or a wavelength, how they know what they're saying and they're communicating, but you wouldn't have any clue. And they don't even, it's a language of really another world. It's an otherworldly language. It's so foreign to your ear. It has no Latin roots or anything. It doesn't have any anything based on any language I think we have on our planet. So I just thought that was interesting. So speaking in tongues, maybe it went back to that. They're using the gold in the tongues, and they also thought that the black goo is a way that people can talk to the archons. There's like a good black goo and an alien black goo, and then there's also like the black goo that's good for Morgellons that they made a tincture of. So it's all like funny how it all comes back to this kind of treatment of bacteria and viruses, maybe. So something about the immortality. Oh yeah, and the talking to the archons. That black goo that's like the Earth's. It's like the Earth's. Using the Earth's black goo is the way you can speak to our enemies, or knowing the archons are some sort of evil kind of evil thing for humans, and it's a way for you to communicate with them and maybe barter with them, or maybe maybe not everyone thinks they're negative. Maybe it's a good thing to talk to them. It's a good thing to be friends with your enemies. I don't know, but it also could be a way to talk to aliens. So I don't know. I think it's a communication tool. Anyway, I think I've covered everything I was thinking about.
Okay, so we're talking about the silver tongue devils and golden foil tongues. Let's add this: keep your friends close, but keep the aliens closer. How about that? How about that while we're at it? Great stuff, Daryl. Yeah, a lot there. I don't know. I think, it gets into weird spots when you talk about communing with, quote, God, right? Because, again, there's so many different variations of what God is perceived to be, and so not only that, like you said, you take it to the next level and say, okay, well, what about the Anunnaki? What about aliens? That supposedly in the tablets, the Sumerian tablets, they did come here, according to Zachariah Sitchin's actual translations of those tablets. The Anunnaki came here to farm gold for some reason, right? And they use supposedly DNA. They created us through needing like soldiers, not warriors, but slaves to farm this gold, to mine this gold. So pretty wild stuff here. And I don't know. It seems to me that our fascination with gold, again, even in ancient times, is strange for a number of reasons, but specifically, right, you can't really make a good weapon out of it, like I was saying. So there seems to be these other properties to this thing, to gold itself, that were recognized by the ancients. Like if they had if they had microscopes and things like this, they could clearly see that the gold itself is like a special thing, right? It's what's known as I can't remember the name of the metal. Not the noble gases. Anyway, it'll come to me in a sec. But basically this, right, is that there's something to it. Like Joe was saying, it blocks radiation. It's a fine conductor of electricity. It does, in reflecting that radiation, it does kind of radiate heat super easily, sort of like a mirror-like properties with heat. Things like this, right? So you could redirect heat if you needed to. I mean, there's a lot of very, very useful things you could use gold for. And we'll get to some of that stuff as we go tonight. But I don't know, like if they're using it in terms of like electronics or maybe sending signals to somebody somewhere, I don't know, some ritual stuff. I don't know. It's over my head. It's beyond me. But that's what makes Troubled Minds anyway. You don't come here for the answers, and we don't come here for the answers. We come here for the questions. Great stuff as always, Daryl. Anything else while we got you on the phone here?
And I think I'm going to try to look for a little more information about the fellow who discovered it. And what gold can really do? I think it's got some special properties. I mean, we love gold. Everybody loves gold. You're not going to turn down gold. People like it more than silver. Some people like silver more than gold, but I prefer gold. If I had the choice, if I had to.
Gold is worth more on the S&P index.
Exactly.
So why? Get that silver away from me, Daryl. Get that silver out of here. You're the best. Daryl in New York, you're welcome to stay right there. Just go ahead and mute up, pretty please. And if you find information later, totally welcome to come back in the third hour. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate the phone call. That's Derek in New York, sounding more like herself. She got out of the hospital at the beginning of December there, and she's sounding great. So fantastic stuff. Thanks for calling. Always amazing stuff. If you want to be part of the conversation tonight, we're discussing this, right? Is this idea, or is that right here from the Yahoo News, golden-tongued mummies might have talked with ancient gods, right? And there's a wild bit. There's a wild bit at the end of this article that we're gonna follow up on right this second. So you see what I'm talking about. Right? There's the actual details of the tomb itself, but here's the wild part. All right. Damn it. Every time I'm about to read it, it just clicks over. It's like it's reading. The algorithms are now reading in my mind, trying to thwart me in real time. Anyway, it goes a little something like this. While the Egyptian ministry's statement on these golden-tongued mummies did not specify the purpose of these golden tongues in particular, the ministry had previously stated with respect to the temple tomb that golden tongues were meant to enable the deceased to speak to the god Osiris in the afterlife. They were, in our modern parlance, a kind of prosthetic or technological device that could enable the wearer to be understood by the gods. Now think of what that means. Look, if I removed all the context from this passage, right from this Yahoo News article, if I removed the context and didn't tell you I was talking about golden tongues on mummies, remove the context and read this one more time, just this part. Check this out. A kind of prosthetic or technological device that could enable the wearer to be understood by the gods. Now, does that without the context sound like something like Neuralink? Does that sound like a transhuman future where you could tune into God yourself directly with some sort of device, some sort of something? Anyway, pretty wild stuff here. Lots to think about, lots to talk about, per usual. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think this is wild, that maybe there's a connection between maybe alchemical gold itself and the weird properties of gold, which we'll get to in just a sec here, and the fact that they're describing these mummies in ancient Egypt that had golden tongues, where they put it into their mouth at burial so that they were able to converse with the gods? Again, weird ritual, weirdo stuff? Or is there something to this? So check this out. There's some other weird stuff with gold here, right? The chemical and physical properties of gold. Just going to go through a bunch of this real quick so you can see exactly why this is super strange here. Gold is an element that was known to ancient man and has always been prized for its color. Is that all it is? Just the color? Again, they don't make good weapons. It's very malleable. Anyway, it was used as jewelry in prehistoric times. Alchemists spent their lives trying to transmute other metals into gold, and it is still one of the most prized metals. All right, now this gets weird here. Okay, we got the stuff here, the properties. Now this is what Daryl was saying with the properties of gold and some of this other weirdness. Check this out. Let's see. In mass, gold is a yellow-colored metal, although it may be black, ruby, or purple when finely divided. Gold is a good conductor of electricity and heat, and this is the interesting part. Electricity and heat. It's a conductor. All right. So not only can you possibly, if you had thin strands of gold in some sort of ancient circuit, right? Then you could actually transmit heat through even tiny strands of gold itself, right? So anyway, this continues. It's pretty wild. So gold is not affected by exposure to air or most reagents, okay? It is inert and a good reflector of infrared radiation. Gold is usually alloyed to increase its strength because, of course, it's super malleable, like I was saying. It doesn't make a good weapon. So it does stand to reason why the question becomes, why were they into it in the ancient times? Was it literally just the color? Because, I mean, pyrite, right, has that same color. Well, but it doesn't have the same properties, does it? So, interesting. So, here we go. There's more here. Gold is usually alloyed to increase its strength, like I said. Pure gold is measured in troy weight, but when gold, blah, blah. Okay. Let's see. Here's some interesting stuff. Gold is one of the few elements that could be found in its native state. All right? Gold, now, this is where it gets wild, even more wild. Gold is the most malleable and ductile metal. 1 ounce of gold can be beaten out 300 feet square or stretched into a wire 2,000 kilometers long. You catch that? 1 ounce of gold can do that. So not only does it have these amazing purposes of not just conductivity of heat and electricity, now you're able to stretch out a tiny bit of gold over vast distances. 1 single ounce. You see? Pretty nuts here. The melting point, blah, blah, the gold oxidation. Let's see what else was in here. That's what I was looking for. Gold is one of the noble metals. That's the term I was looking for. Noble metals. Noble metal is an alchemical term for metals that do not corrode under normal conditions. And this is why, what do? They actually put gold on satellites, right, to shield them from radiation from the sun. So, I don't know, once again, I think to just say the ancients were using gold because they liked a pretty color, there's a lot of pretty things out there. There's a lot of pretty amazing rocks you can polish and all the rest of this, right, that are pretty amazing. But if gold was just used for the color itself, I'm calling shenanigans, because it seems like the ancients knew something about gold that possibly we may still not. And what we're talking about tonight is exactly that. They found these ancient mummies with, yep, you guessed it, gold tongues. Golden tongue mummies might have talked with the ancient gods, right from Yahoo News. And of course, every time I go to the article, it refreshes and goes to Bitcoin or some other thing, but that's okay. We'll get back to that article in just a moment. But that's what's on my mind tonight. I don't know. Gold seems amazing. Gold seems strange. Gold seems weird. And of course, gold seems even still mysterious. Do you think that gold in and of itself is used to channel the gods? That's the question on my mind tonight. What are your thoughts? If you want to be part of the conversation, I'd love to hear what your take is. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. That's right. More gold, the gods, and Derek the Night Stalker coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, YouTube, DLive, and Twitter, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And tonight, we're talking about mummies, but not the kind you would normally consider. These mummies in particular had golden foiled tongues, and the archaeologists that discovered them actually postulated that they've used this technology or this ritual to speak with the gods themselves, in this case Osiris. Do you think there's a link here to gold and communing with the gods? Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we'll put you on the show. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. And of course, well, if you want to be on the Discord, you can do it just like our good friend Derek. Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you tonight?
What's going on, Mike? Great show tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you got an idea about this gold in communing. What's going on with this, my man?
Yeah, I got a few little ideas here. I do really like the idea that it's punishment, like the Game of Thrones style, like you said. Like there was another, I guess like this is like a treasure trove, like this one that just happened this week. They found a bunch of stuff, but I guess it happened in February too, like the first week of February of 2021, where they found like 16 of them. And in the case of the one you're talking about now, they're like very well preserved, but the ones they found earlier in the year were not well preserved. So I don't know if that's just because the site they were at, maybe it was already like pillaged and stuff, but it makes me wonder, like maybe it was like some kind of punishment and the person wasn't actually like special in any way, so they kind of just tucked them in a tomb and sealed it off, kind of Game of Thrones style.
Yeah,
but
like shut them up. They'll never speak again.
Yeah, like for a snitch, like snitches get stitches. The snitches get golden tongues, I guess,
Right.
But this is from Rivers, real quick. The amazing genius Rivers. She says, sorry, I'm going to read it. It's common for the dead, rich or elite to have all sorts of stuff in their mouth in ancient China, including gold. And the most famous empress, Cixi, C-I-X-I, Cixi, had this night luminescent pearl in her mouth. They said it believed to help preserve the body longer. She's not sure why, but it's not unusual to have ordained mouths across the world, And then jade, especially, people like to have jade in their mouth, and it's something to do with possibly like extend the body or possible like reincarnation or something like that. So it could have some type of effect, like maybe I'm just thinking of this now as I'm saying it, but maybe this like the conductive quality, like it's almost acts like an antenna for the body, so that like when your soul leaves the body, it's easier for it to find it again because it has this gold tongue antenna to lock in on, so it can like enter the mouth again, and
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And the thing is too, with gold, again, it is super conductive. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like it seems to me there's something to this. I don't know what the motivation or the basis was for the gold on the tongues, but they're very much like Daryl said, interesting connection with the term speaking in tongues, right? And
I know, that's a cool one.
Right, kicking that up to what level? Well, to the level of the gods. Pretty wild. But the conductivity stuff and what Joe was saying earlier too about Moses and the burning bush and coming down sort of irradiated. It's wild stuff, dude.
It is wild. I have a few thoughts on that. Like, first, like, it kind of makes me think that like maybe it wasn't to talk to God specifically. Like the gold wasn't having the function. Like just my instinct. Like the gold having the function to talk to gods wasn't there in the afterlife. It represent the person who talked to the gods during their life, like the channel, like the oracle of the tribe potentially. Like the one who was the conduit to the gods is like marked by this golden tongue. Like they'd be known to have like a golden tongue. I think somebody posted in the chat that like Thoth was supposed to have a golden tongue. So something like that. The idea that this person was the conduit already, and now it's represented, I don't know, by a golden tongue. But like kind of elephant in the room here. But maybe it's like, I mean, when somebody says, "Oh yeah, he has a golden tongue," my first thought is like, "Uh-oh," like so maybe this person is like the consort of like a high priestess or like a queen or something like that, and it's just this guy is just he had the golden tongue, he had the magic, for this priestess woman. If you catch my drift, and that's just represented in the afterlife. It's just like he was, I don't know, just one of the same way that they have their servants and stuff sometimes be with them in the tombs. It's going to bring her boy toy with the golden tongue and mark him by this golden tongue.
We just went to the nether regions of the universe.
I know.
I see. It's,
exactly.
Go ahead.
Sorry. But there's also like I looked up like weird tongue rituals and stuff in other cultures, and apparently like the Mayans and cultures in Mesoamerica did a lot of bloodletting using like soft organs, especially the tongue. They would like pierce the tongue, kind of scatter the blood in order to like even like finish deals, like agreements were marked by this, but especially to commune with the gods. Like bloodletting, maybe it's like first function is rituals, like some kind of blood sacrifice in order to commune with the gods. So maybe like, I don't know, if the tongue, if that's part baked into culture, then like maybe at the moment of death, it's just like kind of like your entry price into the afterlife or something like that, where you cut your tongue off and then just, all right, we'll give him a gold one if he's like a wealthy person, you know, in the culture. It's more just a replacement. I don't know, the idea that it acts as a antenna afterwards, I'm not like really loving that idea, because I just don't know how it would make sense. Like why, I don't know, besides just being some type of magical ritual and just having like meaning behind it. But as far as like function, I like, why not a gold helmet? Why not a gold, like, I don't know. But like, I've been watching a lot of Stargate lately, and the Goa'uld there were all kinds of gold. There's gold all over them. They have these weird bracelets and stuff that they use to like, they have like a lot of high technology and stuff. And this is like not what it is, but just when you're talking about it, one of the first things that popped in my head was maybe like some type of weird alien type, Goa'uld type symbiote had some type of like golden tongue, literally like a parasite that like, there's all kind of animals in the animal kingdom that have their tongues are replaced by actual parasites that like steal their food and stuff. So I'm imagining like how the Goa'uld and Stargate have that worm in its stomach. Maybe that's like maybe that's just a show, and in reality it was like in its mouth and like talking through its vessel, you know, and in order to imitate this golden tongue snake that's in the mouth of the gods, they mark their own tongues by making them gold. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous thing to say. But I thought it was just
now we've gone too far, Derek. We've taken this way off the rails.
Sorry.
Now you've done it. No, it's okay. That's why we do it, man. Drinking the maybe juice. It's all good. It's all good. I've been watching a ton of Stargate also, and I gotta say, I missed the boat on that one. I was clearly doing some other things, but it's a fantastic series. It did start super cringy though, right?
It's just so slow. Like there's so much content and stuff now that I just have kind of like show ADD, where I'm trying to like, if I'm watching something like that, I'm like, I know there's so many other things I'm not watching or not consuming, you know? So it's not a show where like, and I'm doing everything on my phone, so I can't multitask or anything if I'm watching it. And it's just too much, I don't know, too much wasted filler stuff. But now I'm like halfway through the second season, and I cranked out like honestly 15 in the last like 3 or 4 days. So I'm pretty much fully invested. I'm all in now. Like I'm aiming to be done at SG1 by the end of January, hopefully.
That's beastie, man. That's a lot of episodes.
Let's see what happens. Though.
I put one on every night.
Too, so I got to do a lot of Matrix homework. So.
Okay. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. So what do you think then? Back to the Ark of the Covenant, the mercy seat, and the rest of that. So do you think there is some sort of connection with gold and communing to higher beings? Do you think this is a possible thing, or nah, too much maybe juice?
I mean, Daryl mentioned in the Black Gouda talk to the Archons thing was very, very interesting. And there is like a huge monatomic gold connection to Black Goo and stuff. And there's quotes in the Bible of like Moses saying that like, talking about the river, I'm not looking at it right now, but like the land between like the river Gihon and Gishon or something like that, Pishon and Gihon. It's like this fertile land. And he says that like the onyx stone, like the black stone is like very pure in this land. That's like the reason why they went, and it's always associated with Black Goo theories. Like they went there specifically for the monatomic gold to like, because it has all this magical properties and stuff. And Moses is said to live hundreds of years, so perhaps he was using it for like eternal life and stuff. But I had something, I lost it. Damn. But
I hate that.
Yeah. So just it acting as a conduit to some other entity, I'm very much open for. Like if it's like, yeah, that would make, I don't know. It seems crazy that an alien culture that's so like technologically sophisticated would come here just to mine our metal. You would think like at a certain level they'd be able to like change the properties of atoms and make their own gold or do something. It doesn't seem very efficient unless there is like having specifically like this like native earth monatomic gold Black Goo style conduit type thing would make it that much more precious and would make it worth the trip for alien cultures around the cosmos to come here. So it has this like physical bridge to these ethereal beings that perhaps other races are in contact with or trying to be in contact with, you know? Yeah, I don't know. If I had to lean in one direction just to end the call, I would say it's most likely probably to mark the person who was the channel or was the oracle, like the one who would do these shamanic rituals and like it was the physical, the person, the conduit with the gods, and then when they die, they're ordained with the tongue or whatever. But again, I'm open to all of it. Great stuff from Daryl too. The Black Goose stuff is always fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Joe too.
Yeah, great question, everybody. Get out of here. You got work to do.
Right.
Go smash it, brother. You're the best. Derek, the Night Stalker.
Right, everybody.
Have a good one, man. He has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Scroll down. His link is in the description. Give him a follow. He just has a trailer for right now. You can actually see him stalking on the trailer. Night Stalker with a S-T-O-C-K, not a S-T-A-L-K. Check it out. Pretty fun trailer he has, and you hear how brilliant he is every time he calls in. So, let's inspire him to do more content and give him a follow on YouTube. Links in the description. Great stuff as always from Derek. Thank you for giving us a call. Have a fantastic night. Go slaughter it, my man. Night stalking on the way. All right, so the thing is this, right? I don't know. Clearly, this is not the answer show. This is the question show. But when I see something like this, a mummy with gold foil tongue found in sealed Egyptian tomb, and then you hear that the individuals in question, the archaeologists, the people that are studying this, the Egyptologists, they're there, and the initial thought is that the gold foiled tongue is to allow them to speak to Osiris. And that right there is one of those ones where you're like, what's going on right about now? And so I don't know. You tell me. As usual, right? This is one of those things. There we go. Phone line just took a crap because perfect timing, always perfect timing. I'll call the phone line back. No problem. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that little guy. I got that. Got it unlocked. But okay, so anyway, but we're looking to hear your thoughts. We got another 15 minutes or so on French here. And what do you think? Do you think that there's, again, back to that weirdness of the Ark of the Covenant too? Right, and again, please don't take me wrong. I'm not trying to be blasphemous here. Just kind of trying to look at history in a different sense, right? That's all this is. I'm not doing the ancient astronaut theorist say yes thing, right? You can do that, but I'm kind of doing that, hoping to tiptoe around some of that stuff because I don't want to piss people off that are super religious. But you guys know me at this point. It's not what this is about. This is not about tearing people apart. This is about bringing people together. So anyway, in the sense of that idea of the mercy seat, it fascinates the hell out of me because it's covered in like a thin layer of gold, and again it's kind of built like you might expect a capacitor with the cherubim and the wings facing each other on the top of the Ark of the Covenant. Again, it seems wild, and don't forget, it's how they actually contacted God once a year, right? The Hebrew God. So I mean, there's some wildness to this, and maybe the gold connection, I'm taking it a little bit too far. Who knows? But it seems that even if back in the day, it seems unlikely to me. One more time, I'm going to say this one more time because it seems unlikely that gold was actually used for the purposes you would expect, right? There's so many other like harder metals that are more useful for making like tools, actual tools. You can't make gold tools; they break apart like in almost no time at all. So that's the weirdness to me, is why this reverence for gold all the way back to ancient times, right? That's the weird part. Sure, it's shiny, but a lot of things are shiny. You could polish a lot of things to be shiny, but gold itself is shiny, but it's also super malleable. And you can do all those things we described earlier with it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? If you want to be part of the conversation tonight, we're discussing these mummies that were actually discovered in a sealed Egyptian tomb. All right, and they had gold foil tongues, and the people studying this have suggested that they were using this in the afterlife to communicate with Osiris himself. So, what are your thoughts? If you want to be part of the show tonight, love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Phone line is back up. I have put it on, and we're good to go. So, I don't know. Let's see. There's more. There's more here. Let me get to some other stuff. What else do we got? There's a ton of stuff, right? Like I was digging into this a little bit tonight and thinking, all right, well, we've got a whole lot of this symbolic natural gold thing in not only religious context but like magic. All right, so if we're talking in terms of magic now, and there's a lot here, it seems that there's all kinds of stuff. Here we go. Gold has long been associated with the divine sphere, both in pre-Christian and in Christian religion. The shine of gold, its indestructible nature, its malleability, and its relative scarcity made it an ideal material to embody divine qualities, but also expressions of human veneration of the divine. Gold was perceived as an appropriate material with which to address the gods. Temples, sanctuaries, and churches were decorated lavishly with golden or gilded statues and images. Liturgical equipment was made out of gold, and the gods of Germanic myths lived, according to the Volsupa, I probably pronounced that wrong, in a hall covered in gold and played with golden board games. Janes, in his book God in Late Antiquity, has shown the continuity of the use of gold and its numerous associations with the numinous from a pre-Christian to a Christian world. Gold retained its importance even within a religion that upheld poverty and the rejection of worldly goods. Liturgical vessels, reliquaries, crosses, objects needed for performances of sacred rituals were made in gold. There is also a long tradition of votive offerings. For example, in the shape of tablets that were made in precious metals, gold or silver, and dedicated to a divinity. Again, we see continuity from pre-Christian to Christian customs. The close association of gold and the divine, the gods, can thus be observed in many different aspects, even if a precise definition of how this link worked and what it meant remains difficult. You see that right there. That's what I'm getting at. That's exactly what I'm getting out here, right? There is a link. There's a link here. And, to put the hands up and go, ancient astronaut theorists say yes. I'm not so sure about that. But there's a link here to divinity, to gold, and somehow now we're seeing some connections regarding, of course, communion with God in a way to communicate and do what? You tell me. Love to hear your thoughts one more time, 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Let's go to our good friend Jennifer in Missouri. Welcome to the show. How are you, Jennifer?
Good. How you doing?
Doing very well. Go right ahead.
Oh, well, I was kind of thinking about it, and it reminded me of Marina Abramovich, who's this performance artist. I think she's in her, 70s now, or maybe she's gotten a little older than that. I don't know. But she was a big performance artist there for a while, and she's been, I think, probably best known at this point for the spirit cooking thing. But one thing I remember hearing about from her, she was talking about, she's very famous, so I'm sure that maybe people have heard about her. If not, they should look her up. So she just does, performance artist, stuff like that. One of her performances, which is kind of like a ritual, she was covering James Franco in light gold, a thin 24-karat gold flakes, basically covering him, his whole chest and arms and everything, just sticking it all over his body. And she said that she was making him into a living idol. And she was talking about, that the ancients believed that gold is a life material because it is so fragile. And she says it's almost trembling and it's breathing like a wind. And so she was saying that about the gold that she was putting on him, making him like a living idol and thinking of gold in this way as being like a life force. She also mentions in a workshop she was giving because she gives these workshops to people and just affluent people, and she gives and celebrities attend them and things like that. But at this workshop, she tells them not to bring anything with them. They're going out in the middle of nowhere, basically. And they can bring a bar of soap and a bottle of almond oil. But the other thing that they had to bring was a packet, a 24-karat leaf gold, of little sheets of it. Because what they were going to do was they were going to be fasting, and then they would be making a ball with cardamom seed and crushed almond and chocolate and also the gold. And they were going to consume it because the ancients, I guess, believed that it would affect the mind. It would have a way of affecting the mind. It would be absorbed into the brain. She also mentions about eating the gold that it wasn't food. It wasn't to be consumed as a food. it was going to be absorbed into the brain, and that the old cultures would give it to infants even. And they would give it to them at 9 months old, 7 months old, mixed with honey. And it would be absorbed into the brain. And somehow it was supposed to be some kind of, like, it would change the alchemical way of the mind or something. And I just thought that was really interesting, that there was this kind of strange thing about going on with the gold. And then you talk about this mummies with the gold tongue, the leaf of gold tongue on their tongue. And then speaking with the gods and everything, and this symbology of the gold being some kind of life force too, not just like a jewelry or a metal, but not a food, but like something to be taken and like it's very interesting.
Yeah, pretty wild,
that's
right?
That's all I really have. Yeah.
Okay.
But they obviously had some kind of. Go ahead.
No, finish up. We got about a minute left, so go ahead and slam dunk this one.
Just that they were consuming it, to change the alchemical makeup of the body, and even to change the brain. So why they were giving it into, like, it was clear that even in their funerary rites that they were implementing, that communicating this message of gold being like life, fragile like life. And then this whole thing with communicating with Osiris, the god of the dead and the underworld and everything. Or one of the, I just think it's incredible we still have the message coming through today, that we still find it, right on the mouth of these ancient mummies.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Showing
pretty
what
wild.
they were doing, what they thought about it.
Exactly. Great stuff as always. If you got another idea, you're welcome to call back in the third hour. Jennifer, you're the best. Jennifer in Missouri has a YouTube channel. Please give her a follow. Links in the description, and she's doing good work over there and doing fantastic work here as well, calling us and blowing up our brains on the nightly. Jennifer, you're the best. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Have a good night.
Thanks a lot, you too. There you go. Simple as that. Amazing stuff. And I don't know, like, again, as you know, I'm not the answers guy. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind about anything, all right? Thank you for the call, everybody, for tonight. Jennifer and everybody else all the way on back. Amazing stuff, blowing up brains. It's what we do. It's just kind of considering all the things and wondering what the world around us is really made of. So that's it. Troubled Minds, it's Thursday night, which means for the rest of you guys that aren't going to be, hanging around with us for the third hour, if you're listening to us on the Fringe FM, and stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void, have a Merry Christmas. Have a happy holiday. I don't do politically correct, so if I offended somebody by wishing you goodwill, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I wish you goodwill. Thanks for hanging out with us. Again, if you're listening to us on any other platform, including the podcast feed, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. And as we finish, you know how it goes. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. May your time and your energy and your family and be prosperous and blessed. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, guys. Catch you later. Have a fantastic weekend and a Merry Christmas. We're going to go back to a little bit more Troubled Minds here, but I'm digging the music, so I'm going to just hang out for a minute and just enjoy being here with my friends. How you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing well out there. So what we're going to do, fantastic call. Thank you, Jennifer, for rounding us out there on the second hour. And we are off the Fringe, and we have a third hour of Troubled Minds coming up. And now there's a whole lot to this, right? It's weird. It's not, it's as usual, everything is not so obvious and linear as you might expect. And, well, that's what we're talking about tonight. Is gold in not just the alchemical tradition, but maybe in ritual, maybe in, who knows, maybe some sort of scientific device being used to commune somehow with a higher power, all right? And again, I know there's so many religions, there's so many ideas, there's so many, right, the archons and all the rest of this, the Gnosticism, and there's a ton of this, okay? And I'm not trying to, I know what I know, and so by leaving a religion out here or there, dear God, there's like how many thousands of them on the earth? I can't cover it all, right? No, we only have so much time. So forgive me for that. I do the best I can, and I think it's less important than how strange some of these rituals of the old days may be. And that's what we're going to keep talking about. Considering it tonight is, what do you think? What do you think's going on with this gold stuff? What do you think's happening with these golden tongues in these mummies? And again, oddly enough, right, you would expect that if they're digging up ancient mummies from the Valley of the Kings or whatever, we didn't have King Tut with a tongue of gold, right? Even though that actual tomb itself was intact when they found it, there was a shit ton of gold all over that place. But notably, there was not a golden tongue on King Tut himself. So some strangeness, right? There's something weird here. That is it? I don't know. Is it maybe like a Night Stalker was suggesting? Maybe it's more of a punishment. Maybe it's more of a you silver tongue devil you. Now you're going to get tongue in the afterlife, or not tongue. See what I did? Gold in your tongue in the afterlife forever, right? Maybe. I like the idea, but who knows? We're still considering this. What do you think? Now they found these Egyptian mummies with gold in their tongues. And it's again, like Derek said, they did find some in January, and they just found these recently as well. So it's becoming a thing. So what is that thing? And some of the anthropologists, archaeologists that are studying this, the Egyptologists, have suggested that the golden tongue, is used to speak with Osiris himself. Well, you tell me. Love to hear your thoughts. Still taking phone calls. We got a third hour of Troubled Minds. It is the special holiday edition because, well, there will be no more Troubled Minds tomorrow. And we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. We got Joseph calling in right this second. Go ahead and screen that call. We'll get to you in just a sec. We're going to take a 2-minute break. 2-minute break. More Troubled Minds on the way. A whole third hour. Still taking your phone calls. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Come join the Discord. Don't forget, if you got a few bucks to spare for our good friend Zai and her mother that was diagnosed with cancer and needs some treatment there, appreciate that very much. I'm going to drop the link one more time. It is the holiday season, and like I said, it finds some of us better than others. And I appreciate all the folks who have. She sent me a nice text message, and she's gushing about how much support she's got. So thank you guys so much for caring. Thanks for again, like I always talk about, right? I'm me, you're you, but together we're us. There's a very big notion there that the Margaret Mead quote, right? I'll pull that up and we'll get to Margaret Mead in a sec. But more importantly, Zai's again an employee of Troubled Minds for a very long time. She's again spreading the fairy dust out there in the world of Troubled Minds, spreading the word as we're doing the hard work we do here on the show. And her mother unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer, and she's looking for some funds for some treatment. So if you could spare a few bucks, she does live in the Philippines. She's a very kind young lady, and she works very hard. And so I thank you very much. Like I said, I don't like asking because it's not what this platform's about, but she's a part of the family, and so I just want to put it out there. So thank you to everybody who's contributed. Thank you to everybody who might consider. And there we go. I appreciate it very much. So what we're going to do is take a 2-minute break. We're going to get back and get to Joseph on the phone, and we're going to keep on talking about this stuff. What do you think? What do you think about the golden-tongued mummies? Do you think there's something to communing with the gods here? Or is Michael Strange way off the rails once again? I'm going to drop this link in the chat if you want to check out the fundraiser for Zai. And here we go. Let's take a 2-minute break. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. Zai, shout out to you. Pleasure's mine. For real, you've been honest and hardworking, and I appreciate you very much. Prayers and best wishes to your mother. I hope she recovers quickly, and glad to help. Definitely glad to help. All right, let's do this. Let's keep on trucking. We got all kinds of stuff to continue talking about. Third hour Troubled Minds on the way, including, well, you got it, these mummies with golden tongues. What does that mean? When they say, "You silver-tongued devil," what exactly does it mean? What does that mean? Does it have anything to do with this? Or is it just Michael Strange off the rails again? You tell me. All right, so let's go to our good buddy Joseph in Iowa. Thank you for waiting, my friend. Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you tonight?
All right. How's it going?
Doing good, man. Go right ahead. What do you think? You think there's something weird with this gold situation and communing with the gods, or do you think I'm off the rails?
I think it's possible. Maybe it's like, I don't know if this was said, but maybe it's like a preempt, like people, let's say they were building not just the pyramids, they were building people stronger and building people in different, like it was more of a construction of the soul and building us stronger for the earth. So then like imagine like we got like preempt like ability to like see into the future. Maybe those people with like the golden tongues, they were like the Tupacs of the day, who were like, because a lot of people would say Tupac predicted his death, but maybe that's just his wild behavior and just knowing that his lifestyle, what it was going to lead to. But he was doing it with kind of a different way, you know, his own original, unique way.
Yeah, sort of like kind of manifesting your own destiny, right? Like you act like a reckless punk, you're going to kind of go out like a reckless punk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't mean to say
what I got,
and I don't mean to say Tupac was a reckless punk. By the way, just to let you know, I think that the man was incredibly intelligent and spitting hot fire when he was on the mic for sure. But okay, so wait then. How about this weirdness? I don't know if you're religious or not, but have you heard about this? The other thing to me that's strange is we still have these gold connections throughout antiquity. All right, and again, it's a metal that's like soft. It's not so useful in terms of, again, creating tools or anything else. But it was highly sought after in ritual, right, antiquity, which seems strange because, right, it's like you got this metal, you find it, and you're able to do this, that, or the other thing with it, but it's not a useful thing. You know what I mean? You couldn't make anything useful out of it because it's so brittle.
Maybe the mind.
Go ahead.
My bad.
No, go ahead.
Maybe the mind knows it was useful before we knew it was useful. Maybe the mind saw it as like, and all this other stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of other like materials out there that were like gems and maybe like the preempt, or like, I don't know the word for it, like seeing your destiny. Maybe as soon as we got that gold, it was just like you're beaming into this reality right now where we have cell phones with gold in them.
Okay, interesting. And not only that though, the weird part about it is gold is still used in, like you said, cell phones today. Like they use it. It is one of the most conductive materials. All the rest of that 1 ounce of gold can be hammered out, you know, in a thin wire for, what was it? How many kilometers? Hold on, I'll tell you here. I'm gonna say this again. This is wild, right? Gold. Okay, gold is the most malleable and ductile metal. One ounce of gold can be beaten out to 300 feet squared, or stretched into a wire 2,000 kilometers long. 1 ounce of gold. Doesn't that seem incredibly wild?
Yeah.
So what the hell would they be using it for?
I always thought, another idea I always had was maybe consciousness is held in the earth, and like the more we dig out stuff like gold, and the more consciousness fades away. So maybe we are like the termites of consciousness coming in, or maybe we were programmed to be like, maybe we were all chill at first, but then we started to become the termites of consciousness in a way.
The termites of consciousness. I love it. I love it. There's some terms that just kind of come out of conversations that are incredible. Yeah. I like the maybe juice you're sipping. I like that flavor. Okay, so back to the. What do you think about the Ark of the Covenant? Are you Christian at all? Catholic in any capacity?
No.
Okay. No. I am only in some of my family is, but the thing that fascinates the hell out of me is it seems like this isn't the only connection. Back to that Ark of the Covenant connection, and they said that in the Temple of Solomon, right, the mercy seat was the two angels, the cherubim with their wings connecting, which almost is like a capacitor because it's covered in gold, and these two things are kind of almost connecting. They're almost touching. All right, and well, I don't know. And they say this is where they contacted God. So the whole gold tongue thing, speaking to Osiris, it seems to track with maybe that ancient tradition of the Ark of the Covenant, and that they used it as an antenna to talk to God. And that's a line from Indiana Jones, by the way. Raiders of the Lost Ark. But that seems wild, right? It's like okay, so you build this like acacia wood thing to specific dimensions told to you by God. Then you cover it in gold, and if you handle it improperly, it could strike you dead. Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah. Maybe like another dimension gave us the instructions, and then it's kind of like, and then like we're kind of like stuck at that, being a receiver at that point. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, it seems pretty wild. Another great quote here. Ronald over on Rockfin says, the mummies may have been eloquent speakers during their lives and were honored in this fashion. I like that idea as well. Good stuff. Well, anything else you got for us, Joseph? What else you got, my friend? We got time if you got time.
I really couldn't think of too much besides like, maybe the tongue. I wonder how they were buried. Like if they were surrounded by like people, like followers without like, or not followers, like if they had other people buried around them. There's like a couple questions I would have, or I wondered earlier when I was looking at it.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of good questions here. I don't know. I'm gonna be with you and just say that we are termites of consciousness. We'll just roll with that. You're the best, Joseph.
Well, we could be like that could be because of what systems we have, you know. And you know, I don't know if like maybe we could be the opposite of that. We could be harnessing consciousness. We could turn it around. You know, right now we have earth-moving machines that could strip this planet completely of all of of everything. Like we have those. We basically have earth movers.
Okay.
And I think with all that power, we could do a lot of good or a lot of bad.
Yeah, as always, right? It seems like
gold. Maybe that's where the golden tongue. My bad. Maybe that's where the golden tongue though comes in. Like you got people with a lot of power in their tongue.
Yeah, that's interesting. So like Ronald said, the mummies may have been eloquent speakers during their lives and were honored in this fashion. But you're saying something interesting, right? They say, this is a saying that goes back, the pen is mightier than the sword. And the orator, the guy who can shake his fist and speak eloquently, right, is also powerful in a particular way, in that words are spells. So I wonder if this is actually a way to maybe amplify their power in an afterlife. That's an interesting thought. You got holiday plans, my man? What's going on with you in the holiday?
Not much. People coming over for Christmas and stuff. Got a lot of gifts to hang out.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Standard Christmas, and pass on love to the family from me. If they don't know me, that's okay. Just be like, hey, some rando on the internet said peace and prosperity to you and yours, my friend. Thank you so much for calling. Thanks for being part of this family. Happy holidays to you and your family. Joseph here has a YouTube channel. It's called Hydro Hose. He does original music and some other things. Check it out. Links in the description. It says follow Joseph here. And Joseph, you're the man. I appreciate it, my brother. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. There you go. Easy as that. Easy as that. Simple. Dial the number. What do you think? Do you think there's something to this? Let me smash the button. There we go. All right. So see the workflow is a little bit better now. I've incorporated the phone thing into the streaming thing, so I'm not having to look in 10 different directions all at the same time. I just have to remember to click over, and yeah. So the third hour of Troubled Minds is a kind of chill time, right? We can hang out with each other and we can talk about all kinds of amazing things. And part of that is, being more actually chatty, reading the chat. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there? Great comment there, Ronald. Appreciate that. What's up, Kelly? I see you in Colorado. How you doing? What's up, Crabapple says, hopefully folks can donate to the cause. Appreciate that so much. Yes, Zai did send me a text message, and she's thrilled. She says, thank you to everybody out there. And very, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. So thank you for all of your holiday kindness. Like I said, it's we know cancer is a terrible thing, and it is the natural enemy of humanity, like I was saying. However, it's one of those. It hits everybody. It literally, there's what's that Kevin Bacon thing, the 7 degrees. Like, cancer is so much closer to home than all the rest of that, and it's horrific. And have somebody so close, working with so closely for so long, have their family afflicted by it, it affects me greatly. So thank you guys for being generous with her and generous with the family and just the group together. It's humbling, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much for that. I'm not sure what else to say other than thank you. Okay, so what we're doing tonight is we're talking about gold. We're talking about the chemical and physical properties of gold. We're talking about the actual, these mummies that were discovered in ancient Egypt, they had gold on their tongues. And so what does that mean? Is it a situation where, as the Egyptologists have suggested, that they were given this gold on their tongues so they could communicate with Osiris himself in the afterlife? And then it got me thinking in terms of, okay, a ritual, in terms of all the rest of this stuff. And what does it mean? I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts. Still taking your phone calls. Got some time for you. If you guys are interested in this conversation, we've got time for you. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we can just open it up to whatever the hell, because that's what we do in the third hour. That's why we do the third hour, actually, to just kind of hang out and consider that lots of things are happening in the world, and we can take our time now and talk about them. No radio clocks, nobody telling us what to say and when to say it, nobody telling us what to think. So if you have thoughts, ideas, whatever, show feedback, you just want to say, hi, Michael Strange, it's all good. That's what this is about. That's why we do the third hour entirely, just to kind of be able to let the hair down, as I like to say. So anyway, what do you think here? There's a lot more I could get into. I think my ideas are pretty clear in where some of this comes from, but there's a lot of interesting stuff, right? You can kind of look at gold jewelry in ancient Egypt and how they've been doing this stuff for a long time, and notably, of course, the gold alloys were not always pure gold, as alloy suggests, right? Let's read just a little bit of this, and looking to hear from you. 702-957-1037, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. Here we go. Egypt is a land rich in gold, and ancient miners employing traditional methods were thorough in their exploitation of economically feasible sources. Going back to Egypt and the gold real quick. In addition to the resources of the Eastern Desert, Egypt had access to the riches of Nubia, which is reflected in its name NBW, the Egyptian word for gold. The hieroglyph for gold, a broad collar, appears with the beginning of writing in Dynasty 1. But the earliest surviving gold artifacts date to the pre-literate days of the 4th millennium BC. And this is what I'm talking about. When you look at some of this stuff, right? 4th millennium BC, let's mark that so I can go back to it. When you start thinking in terms of how long these ancient civilizations has been going after gold, like I said, it is odd. It is odd. Like, sure, shiny, but I mean, quartz is shiny, right? Like, how come quartz wasn't as coveted as gold here? It seems odd. It seems an odd thing. Silver, of course, very shiny. I don't know. I think in ritual terms, I think this is an interesting thing because of that and many more reasons. But it also seems to suggest that the ancients knew a little bit more about gold than we are letting on, right? As in modern times, because we do use it in microchips, things like this, because of its. Again, 1 ounce could be stretched for 2,000 kilometers, something like that, in a tiny, tiny micro wire. But also, it's an amazing conductor of electricity and heat itself. So, you tell me. I don't know. That seems pretty strange to me. But you look at some of this stuff, and it's peculiar. Is it strange? Am I the only one who thinks this is strange? That's okay. If it is, my name is strange. So let's go. So these are mostly beads and other modest items used for personal adornment. This is from metmuseum.org, by the way. Gold jewelry intended for daily life or use in temple or funerary ritual continue to be produced throughout Egypt's long history. And so the gold thing, what's interesting too, by the way, speaking of that, the actual logo for Troubled Minds, the one that I finally settled on, if you'll notice, is actually, it's an Egyptian hue. It's actually got the gold letters and sort of that royal blue background, right? So I don't know. I think it kind of spoke to me, the colors and the rest of that. But that's sort of where this came from, right? Sort of the ancient Egyptian sort of motif recycled, regurgitated, and bastardized and turned into some whack talk show on the internet. But how dare I, right? How dare I? But I don't know. What's up, Sherry? I see you there in the chat. How are you? Thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging out. Happy holidays to you and yours and everybody else out there as well. But I don't know. There's weirdness to this, right? There's some strangeness to this, and I don't know what to do. Let's go back to the chat here over on YouTube and say hello. What's everybody? What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Promethean Reckoning says gold is a good conductor, but conversely, it doesn't corrode. So maybe Juice, what were they? What they were saying or who they were talking to was corrosive. Oh, talking to demons, maybe, right? Interesting. That's pretty wild. What's up, Daryl says, I would like my gold punishment while I'm alive. Damn it, Daryl. Damn it, Daryl. Gonna beat you with this golden scepter, which really wouldn't do any damage to you because it would just bend and break. But you're funny. That's hilarious. What's up? Great calls so far tonight, guys. Still taking your phone calls. What do you think? Do you think the actual alchemical properties or the actual physical properties of gold are some way to commune with the divine? Yep. What's going on? How's everybody out there? Let's go back to the chat. How's everybody? Let's see. What's up? Renee Saw says, you acid test gold and silver. Jennifer says, I wonder if it is so that gold is absorbed in the brain, that if it conducts electricity, then does it change the way the brain will operate in regions where the gold is absorbed when consuming the way that they were doing? I think it would be dangerous to consume gold because, of course, we have to say we're not doctors, we're not experts, but for the sake of conversation, consult your doctor before you change your diet, and don't drink too much Goldschlager. I see there, Brian After Dark. What's up, buddy? But yeah, absolutely. Termites of consciousness, that's a pretty good one. Jennifer says, maybe they would lay down with their heads in the mercy seat of the ark and speak while invoking the god, right? Maybe. And, of course, if, again, it's super highly conductive, it's built like a capacitor, and it can send a holy shock into your head. Well, whoa. Jennifer says, some say Jesus' head was with the Ark of the Covenant. What the heck? Never heard that. The most holy place to tomb before it was risen. I did read tonight, when I was digging in a little bit, I read that There are some speculations that the Ark of the Covenant was actually buried in some place which ended up being the same place Jesus was crucified. That's an interesting thought. And that in Matthew, I think the book of Matthew, that the earth was torn asunder, and when Jesus got stabbed on the cross, his blood trickled down and actually came into the cracks of where the lost ark was hiding underneath exactly where he was going to be crucified. That's a pretty wild story. So I was just reading some of that stuff. I didn't include it in the links because I didn't think we'd get there tonight. But anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? That's the question tonight. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? It's Christmas time. Do you want to talk about Christmas? What's up, Angela? I see you there. How are you? What's going on? Let's see. Allison, greetings and salutations from Central Texas. How you doing? Jay says, Jay in New York, Joseph, throw firewood on the black goo fire. Great call. Exactly. Thanks, Joseph. Great stuff as always. Matt says, the gift of gab. You silver-tongued devil, you. The Leo zodiac correspondent is the sun equals gold. Okay, so it gets even a little wilder than that, right? I was looking into the gold stuff and the rest of this tonight. So not only Battlefield Earth, right, but the Anunnaki mining the gold. It seemed that in the South American tradition, the Mesoamerican thing, they considered gold to be the tears of the sun, right? And so this actually goes back to, silver being related to the moon, the cold, icy light of the moon at night. And then we have gold being, equated to sun worship and being the tears of the sun. So I think there's some pretty interesting connections here, and you start to go deep on this. I don't know. Like I said, that's not really my thing to go super deep, and that's more like a Ryan Gable symbologically speaking thing. But I think it's good. I don't know. Got a lot of gold in the background here, though. So look at that. I'm coming up. Look at all this gold. I got the gold portal and the gold background. I'm on it. All right. So what else? There's some interesting stuff here. So why was the gold so important to the ancient Anunnaki? That's the question. This is from ancientcode.com. So on Earth, gold is one of the most important resources society knows of. We use it in a lot of things. It is used in electrical components and in almost everything that has to do with electricity. Gold is really one of the top conductors, and its malleability and ability to transform it into wires, the ability to use it with really small forms as nanoparticles, is going to make it an incredible technological resource for any sort of intelligent life form. So you would believe that an alien race with the ability to travel through space would use gold in more than one form. Gold can also be used as an energy source through properties called thermoelectric effects, where it can take heat and turn it directly into electricity. This means obtaining clean and efficient energy. So I don't know. There's some weirdness to this. I'll read a little bit more of this as we go. But what do you think? As always, taking your phone calls. That's why we do the third hour. You guys are interested? What's up? Sherry says, I'm the Silver Knight One. What's up, Silver Knight One? How are you? Welcome. Happy holidays. Ronald says, I'm cubic zirconium. Yes, sir. Indeed. What else do we got in the chat? How's everybody? Angela says, I saw the biggest craft of my life last night. Oh, uh-oh. Everybody okay? All right. Good stuff. Jennifer says, Jesus was crucified on the same mountain that Abraham nearly crucified Isaac as well, so they say. Moriah, what's up? Shadows of the Moon says, is that why I love silver way more than gold? Because I'm a moon person, not a sun person? That could be. I think that could totally be. And, right? It is. So they said in some, again, back to some Mesoamerican cultures, is that they say that gold is the tears of the sun. And so it's back to sun worship, right? Which, well, is all fine with me because we can't do without the sun, so we may as well do a little sun worship here and there. So anyway, just kicking it with friends. It is sort of the holiday edition of Troubled Minds because, well, there won't be another Troubled Minds until after Christmas. So, well, what can you do? Taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's put the thing up and just kicking it, just hanging out. Just dogs chewing on a stick right here. Just Mike sipping some maybe juice. Just talking, just hanging out with some friends, some family, and you guys are the best. So I don't know. What do you think? Too much gold? Not enough Schlager? Is that what's happening here? I have no idea. But anyway, I'll read a little bit more of this as we go. But still looking to hear from you guys if you have thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. We've got Jay in New York here. Whenever you're ready, sir, I'll read a little bit more of this and let you get settled. Here we go. There's some interesting stuff about gold as well. This is from ancientcode.com. Did you know that gold reflects infrared light? Infrared is basically light you don't see, but in fact interact with in the form of heat. The radiation interacts with our molecules, and that makes them vibrate faster, and you'll feel that as heat. Gold also makes a good heat shield, partly because it's quite malleable. Better yet, you can make gold very thin. It's easy to work with, and it has great properties for reflecting and heat protection, making it truly the only metal that is proven to last the test of time. We can say that gold is nearly indestructible. Ancient civilizations used it thousands of years ago in figures, and some of them in buildings. Anything that was not made out of gold thousands of years ago, anything that was made out of gold thousands of years ago still exists today. Not only in ancient Sumeria, but ancient civilizations across the globe had a very special place for gold in their society. Sitchin theorized that the Anunnaki came from another planet in our solar system that has a 3,600-year elliptical orbit. The planet's minerals and resources were depleting, specifically gold. The Anunnaki's home planet needed gold in the atmosphere, which was disappearing. So they basically came to Earth to mine gold and take it back to their home planet. According to the ancient astronaut theory, and remember how we say about that, ancient astronaut theorists say yes, don't they? Let's read some more of this. According to the ancient alien theory, the Anunnaki genetically altered primitive mankind and created a labor force which allowed them to mine gold faster. The Anunnaki created humans as a slave species, according to Zacharias Sitchin. The Adamu were the first modern humans. They were created by the Anunnaki 450,000 years ago when they genetically mixed their DNA with that of prehistoric man, and that way obtained a labor force which did what the Anunnaki wanted. According to ancient alien theorists, this is something carved in stone and not just a made-up story. If we that's probably enough for that. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Looking to hear from you. Still talking about this stuff. Still considering the gold situation. 702-957-1037. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Tomorrow, and in some places right now, tonight is Christmas Eve, which means, of course, Santa Claus is gearing up, kicking them horses into gear. What's going on? Angela says, Moriah, Wind of Destruction. You got it, Jay. What's up, brother? Are you there? Testing 1 2. Jay in New York.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Troubled Minds, my friend. Happy holidays to you and the fam. How are you, my man?
Happy holidays to all.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. This whole gold thing has really got me stirred up, because I remember a conversation that we had months and months ago about mirrors and stuff like that. I have a Mercury-backed mirror, and all the woodwork and plasterwork that's on it to make it really ornate and everything else like that is all padded with gold leaf. And then you said that thing about an ounce of gold get you 300 square feet.
Yep. Isn't that wild? That's crazy.
Yeah. How much energy out of that mercury? Because mercury is a really great conductor too, but unbelievably toxic, you know? So if you're adding the two together, what do you get? Especially when you smash it on a piece of glass in a funeral home, you know?
We'll have to consult Joe on that one.
Well, that was another really odd thing is I've got like an entire, I can't read, I don't even want to say how much it is because it's a decent amount of the funeral director here. When he did you know how they have little cards when you go, Aunt Dorothy dies or whatever that you're supposed to put in your Bible. You go to a funeral and there's a little prayer card there.
Yep.
He had a typewriter a royal typewriter, and they would pull the ink out and he would put a gold leaf in there and type your name in it. And he saved all of the names. So there's all that other gold on there except the spot where the typewriter hit it. It's just the funny ways how people save their gold.
Yeah, right. But still, right? So again, short of like actual like scientific properties of gold, which again, clearly in the modern time we can say there's a good reason for wanting gold, and there's a good reason for the value for that, for at least that reason. But what about the ancients, right? Like if they weren't building like capacitors and building microchips and things like this, things they needed, anything electrical, then gold was sort of a novelty, right? It wasn't necessarily valuable other than we, humans attribute value to something in those terms. So I don't know. It seems strange to me. Like I keep saying that why would they covet it so much? Meaning that there's so many other like great things in the world. You know what I mean? Like there's some like amethyst or right. Like there's some shit that's just
something a little bit easier to mine.
Yeah. Or even nicer looking, right? Nicer looking. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Doesn't dull.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's why we're talking about this. Pretty crazy stuff. What do you think about the whole that Ark of the Covenant bit, and maybe using the gold capacitor of the cherubim angels as they kind of connect over in the mercy seat to be that antenna to God? What do you think about that idea?
It would be a great way to start. You know what I mean? You got a whole crap load of gold. They're doing like Jennifer said, like with parts in there and stuff like that. You could make a really easy rare earth metal battery with all that gold. You could probably channel that energy pretty cool if you knew what you were doing. Lost knowledge. That's one of the things that I look at. Dark and Devious put something in the Discord chat today about Elon Musk's cars aren't really all that great. I don't know if I should say that, but they break down and stuff. You have problems and issues with them and stuff like that. You're really going to trust them with a Neuralink? You know damn well that the Neuralink is made out of gold. That's what we use for conductors. That's why all these kids go around and pick up the cell phones and the TVs and everything else like that. They set up something in their garage where they acid wash it and pull it all off. We're still going after it incredibly. The heating and cooling guy's son actually rents a warehouse, and they have a couple of trucks. They go around and they pick all this stuff up and they bring it back, and they make money doing it. When IBM was back, slightly after the mechanical part of the machines, when they started having their little capacitors and stuff in there and everything else like that, their boards were not pressed boards like we have, where there's a microfilament of gold hammered out 2,000 kilometers long. It was a great big huge thick wire, and these things are like laying around in garages and stuff like that because IBM just wanted to get rid of them. People are taking them to scrap yards for scrap. Other people are going in there and they're just cutting all the wires and stripping it off and rolling it up and selling this gold wire from 1940, 1950. It's pure 24 karat gold wire. It's just laying around everywhere. It's really odd to think about how that gold conversation comes into all those other conversations, with the Egyptians and tongues of the god and all that other stuff. I went to a church where they spoke in tongues, and that was a really odd thing that I can't remember who Daryl, I think, brought up.
Yeah.
But I look at all these things. It's all a little. If we don't communicate with each other the way that we do, with an open mind, and talk about these things and have conversations about whatever you pick for the day, and try to maintain minimal amount of focus on it, these conversations would never happen. This would be something that we lost. The fact that everybody calls in and gets a little bit of a take on it really makes mine go so many places that we could talk for 100 years if we just kept talking about it.
Yeah, let me tell you too. In regard to that, one of my, I wish I was with the game so much sooner because part of the reason I want to do this, part of the long-term project of Troubled Minds is to chronicle, not just my thoughts on the current day or whatever, thinking about the ancient times and the rest of this, but yours and everybody else who calls into this show. It's like I always say, I'm not trying to get Linda Moulton Howe on this show. Like, sure, she's fine and all the rest of that, and she's done the cattle mutilation work and alien work and Earth Files and all the things, right? But like, it's not about that to me. It's about you. It's about me. It's about these normal people, right? Normal people, and kind of chronicling thoughts in real time and being able to just kind of put them out there, and just
it would be cool to have somebody like that.
Yeah,
because let us ask her question.
Sure. But it's still right. It would be cool. But you see what's happened is that it becomes our show, an our show thing, instead of, let's get the somebody else who has a YouTube channel on here. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just that I'd rather hear from regular people, just normal people. And for the record, some of the people that now call into this show often, before they heard Troubled Minds, didn't have YouTube channels. You know what I mean? So it's that whole inspiring each other back and forth. But back to what I said is that the reason one of my I wish I was with the game sooner is because one of my grandfather was an amazing dude. Both of them even. One of them unfortunately passed away a long time ago from actual smoking. Right? We talk about black goo. That was horrific. So unfortunately I didn't get to spend most of my life knowing that grandfather. He was very calm, very collected, very intelligent. He was one of those guys. He was kind of like still water runs deep, that sort of guy, Like, he knew a ton of stuff. He was in World War II, all the rest of that, right? So inspiring guy. You have just memories of him in the garage hanging out. He's painting or doing this or that and teaching me little things, and we're listening to the Giants game on the radio, you know what I mean? But I wish that if I was on the game sooner, to maybe be a chronicler of those things that folks like my grandparents, wouldn't go forgotten. Their memories, in those senses. But I wish I had, the wherewithal then to maybe bust out a tape recorder and hear some of the amazing stories that they told me. Still memories, but it's a different thing to hear it in the people's own words, you know what I mean? And then my other grandfather
Absolutely.
as well. Yeah. And then the other grandfather, just real quick, since we're just kind of shooting the shit here at the end of this holiday style, is that my other grandfather, he was a talker, right? Who knew, right? Who knew that the other grandpa was a talker, right? And I caught the gene, but who knew? And the thing is, right, like, so many amazing stories this guy had to tell. I wish I had on tape. I wish that I was able to have been closer to that game when it mattered, when he was still here, right? And so that's what this is about. It's about regular people with amazing stories to tell, and that's what the show's always been about. So just FYI to you and anybody else listening. Like I said, I know we're kind of derailing and off but it's okay. That's what the third hour's for, and that's that. So real quick too, Jay. I don't know if you got me up on the screen there. I'm a full screen just for you here, and
give me 1 second.
No problem. Well, look what came in today in the mail. I've got this thing here. It's a
hat.
Is it a hat? It's a dad hat. It's not. The camera's not really picking it up great. But anyway, I've got a dad hat here that Jay's been on my ass about. He's like, Mike, I want a hat. I want a hat. I want a hat. I want a hat. I kept promising Jay a hat. We'll get hats. We've got hats. A dad hat for Jay. He requested that I autograph the dad hat for him, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to send this out. I'll try and get it in the mail tomorrow. But just to let you know, it's on the way. It's on the way. Thanks for staying on my ass. Thanks for the cross direction back and forth, inspiring each other, and just thanks for being you. Happy holidays. And yeah. So what else? What's wherever you want to go, man. You know how this works. We're just doing our thing, hanging out, and it's third hour, so let's just kick it and have a good time.
I mean, I'm really interested in all the ways that was going tonight. The gold, the gold tongue. Are they really burying people like that? I mean, they didn't take it out and carve it out of solid gold. And it makes me think that, Tutankhamun's, all his gold might have not been solid gold. It might have just been gold leaf on it. It's that valuable. Joe said something about all the gold in the world will only fill an Olympic swimming pool. Is that true?
I'm not sure. And that's the thing, right? That's part of why we do Troubled Minds, is because some of those things, some of those thoughts, like you see them reported, is that even true? Like, think in terms of big oil, right? So we've heard that, by the year whatever, like oil, we're going to have extracted all the oil out of the earth, right? And so...
1993, I think we were going to lose it all.
Exactly. And so the point is that, so the next thing is like, we found this giant oil reserve in Northern Africa. It's like, well, that was fucking handy, wasn't it? So point being is that, like, as the information changes and develops, right, all the doom and gloom of the old days doesn't seem to be so doom and gloom anymore. Well, unless you ask the appropriate folks. So yeah. Anyway, I'm with you. The gold stuff is pretty fascinating to me. And to be honest, 100% honest, I don't own any gold. Me myself, I don't own any. I don't wear jewelry at all, as you can tell. I'm a simple dude. I wear these kind of shirts because I sweat like a hog, and if I don't, they just get all like nasty and gummed up. So functionality is what it's all about for me. So I'm not a bling bling guy, but gold is a fascinating thing because it just, in terms of that sort of electrical current being able to run through it, generate heat, and use as a power source and all the rest of that. Pretty wild, huh?
Well, I mean, it's an amazing metal, but the thing is, though, it's just not worth it, I mean, another thing that kind of got me thinking about it is when you said something about them insulating satellites with it and stuff like that. I remember when we were working at a place called Cyberknife, it was a radiation lab where they could like pinpoint the exact point that they were going to hit you with the radiation. They hung sheetrock up, and then they put up lead wallpaper. And then they hung up sheetrock again on top of the lead wallpaper and did it again a couple, 2-3 times to keep the radiation from the Cyberknife thing coming in there. Is it cheaper than doing it with gold? Worth the risk? Whatever. I look at all those things, dumb little things that I observe from being a carpenter, just going about my day. It's like, why is someone going through all that effort? You look back at Egyptian times and stuff like that. If they were going after gold in the time that they were barely civilized the way that we're taught to believe and everything else like that, instead of harvesting crops and irrigating water and all that other stuff that they should have been doing, why were they out there mining gold and building monuments? I mean, they had to be absolutely thriving. The building that I was working on with up on the roof and stuff like that, I brought a couple of pieces of the cornice work home that we had to cut out. And everyone was like, why are you doing that? And I was like, because that's a piece of stone. And in order for somebody to make that look like that out of a piece of stone, that took a while. They put forth a lot of effort to do it. When you look at things that people put, the why, Mike, I always go back to my why. Why did the people who built that building back in 1897 to 1907, or however long it took them to build it, why did they put that much effort into the gargoyles and the cornice work and stuff like that? They could have just laid bricks up there. You know what I mean? It would have been the same building. And in all honesty, right now, 100 years later, it's costing them a couple $1,000,000 so it didn't fall down and crack somebody on the head from 12 stories. Why did they do that?
You tell me. You're the builder, man. Come on.
I don't know. It looks cool, man. It looks cool. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Gilded shit looks cool, doesn't it? That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a lot easier to con the carpenter into going up there and building something up there on the top of a roof when it looks cool than just some stupid something or other. We want you to climb all the way out there and hang up this big, huge rock. Okay. Better look cool.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. What's up, guys? We're just hanging out, kicking it, talking about the chemical and physical properties of gold, considering the news that came out in the last couple days about these Egyptian mummies that are now being found, some back in January, like Derek the Night Stalker said, and some recently, where they have these gold foil things, tongue replicants foiling their tongues, maybe actually inserted into their mouth in the mummification process. So some of the speculation has been that it was a way for them to connect directly, speak directly with Osiris himself in the afterlife. And without it, well, maybe, yeah. So we got a lot of theories here, including Night Stalker said maybe it's a form of punishment for maybe liars or things like this. Ronald had an opposite idea over there on Rockfin, considering that maybe it was a way to honor somebody who was a very great speaker, something like that. And I'm like, well, what if? Let's drink some baby juice and consider if this is a way to actually commune with the gods. I don't know. What's your take on that, Jay? The whole mercy seat thing and the rest of that?
I really think that would be a curse. You know, you're destined to talk to gods. Are you destined to talk to gods for all people? Is it your job? The reason why they gave you the gold-plated tongue was to go off into the netherworld and whatever and be the spokesperson for the people who are yet to come? I mean, was that a pre-Jesus? You know what I mean? The kind of a person that was there to talk to God for you because you accepted him. You know, and all of the religions, you know, I find something that, and all of the people that I've met, you know, respectful and everything else like that of everybody else's opinion, but you begin to learn that all religions are basically the same. And if we look at how that's gone and how it's going, it's like we're coming to a place where we might be able to all agree. I mean, you have a pretty huge group here of people that can get along and talk about whatever. You're going to give the guy the golden tongue to talk to all of us. Who do you pick? You know, the last guy, the next guy. Do you elect a new guy? Pick some guy's name out of a hat? I mean, really, how do you deal with a person that you want to talk to the gods for you?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty wild stuff. I think that's why you got to consider all the possibilities here, all the angles. And it is strange, right? Again, why gold? So you're a builder. So other than it looks cool, why gold? Why would the ancients be mining and using gold for not just jewelry? Again, silver can polish probably nicer, arguably, right? Again, amethyst and some of these quartz and some of these like natural gemstones can like look like, you know, like nicer than diamonds if you polish them properly, right? So, I mean, there's a whole lot of that to the, you know, well, it looks good, fine, but there's a whole lot of other shit that looks good too, right?
All of it, everything you just listed has better structural integrity than gold will ever have. Gold is an unbelievably weak metal, you know. It's like the Minecraft, they want you to have a gold helmet and a gold vest and all that stuff for the best thing. The only thing that's better than that is diamond, but you know, you can get pretty far up in the levels, and you know, the toddler tornado is starting to play Minecraft now, so I'm learning it. But gold is a cool thing to have. Golden apple, golden sword, all those things. In all honesty, Mike, if you and I were going at battle and you had a 2x4 sword and I came after you with my gold sword, you'd probably kick my ass.
Yep, I was about to say, you're going to get your ass whooped. Yep, even if it was pine, a softwood, you're still going to get your ass whooped. Yep, yeah.
Just go, I mean, but it's a hell of a conductor, a hell of a heat generator, you know. In all honesty, should the fins in your boiler be made out of gold? You know, would it be a better utilization of the heat? The little thing that used to be in the hot water heaters, the thermocouple, has got a little band of gold in it. You know, just because that heat kept the magnet separated so the pilot light would stay lit. But that was gold, just a teeny tiny bit. And mercury. So you didn't want to cut them open because then you're dealing with mercury.
Right. So just an update here. Joe, when fact checked himself and the rest of us, says 4 pools. I was wrong. It would fit 4 pools. He linked from Quora. Is it true that all the gold ever mined is the equivalent of 3 Olympic swimming pools in volume? Apparently it's only 4. So, well, what does that mean? Does that mean we haven't found the mother lode yet? Or does that mean that it's as rare as we believe? So maybe just the rarity of itself and the fact that it polishes up nice and, like I said, looks good on gilded stuff. And you could spread it out quite far. Maybe that's enough.
If you had 4 Olympic swimming pools of that stuff, you could probably pound it flat into 300 square feet. You'd be damn near to covering countries.
Yeah, exactly. Which I can see just in the sense of like kind of building things and covering things with it and things like that, and hammering it out and, you know, making it into like thin foil. Yeah, I get it. Like I get it, but I don't know. Maybe back to the maybe juice. It's okay. It's okay to drink some maybe juice and also to consider that, well, maybe there's nothing here, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. But it does seem strange that like these holy relics are, you know, in many cases covered in gold. Actually, I got one too. I got a biblical one for you here. Revelation. This is Revelation 14:14, and the harvest of the earth. Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud, one like a son of man, with a golden crown on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. And notice, it's not a golden sickle in his hand and an iron crown. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. So, yeah, I think there's definitely something here. Interesting.
That's those Japanese, what they can do with that iron.
Yeah, right?
Jennifer knows all about that.
Right? Just saying. Yeah. Good stuff. I was kind of digging into a little bit of the gold, you know, some of the gold biblical references, and there's a ton. Talents of gold, right? And Solomon, and it goes all the way back, but pretty wild stuff. I think, and some of the ritual stuff too. There's a whole lot there. Again, back to the Mesoamerican cultures where they actually thought that gold itself were the tears of the sun. Pretty nutty, right? Pretty wild stuff.
Well, another thing that really got me on it is, do you remember? You're probably old enough to remember when everybody was wearing the copper bracelets because the copper was supposed to go in and alleviate joint pain.
Aren't they still doing that? I think they're still doing that.
I got a letter for a class action lawsuit for one that I bought for like $100. But just saying.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if we do that anymore. Wearing copper, because most of our copper now has got a lot of lead in it, but whatever. But if you got a pair of 14 karat gold earrings and you're wearing a 14 karat gold ring from your wife or whatever, that metal is interacting with you. You know, is that one of the reasons why, you know, the girls want something shiny for Christmas? You know, just to wear it? Is it something that you have in it? Is it like part of your alien heritage that you need a little bit of gold in your system the same way you need a little bit of iron and a little bit of potassium and a little bit of everything else? A little bit of gold isn't bad for you. You know, if you don't believe in wearing it, maybe like Goldschlager, you drink it.
Have you ever had Goldschlager? I've never had
Yeah, I have. And in all honesty, if I have a shot of Goldschlager, I will puke that shot back up right into the shot glass. No more, no less.
Really?
My body says no.
Not doing it, huh? Rejecting.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So maybe you're not supposed to consume it. Back to Jennifer's comment there. You should probably consult your doctor before you change your diet, including consuming any gold. So there you go.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't recommend it.
It is a heavy metal.
It is a heavy metal. I do not recommend it either. All right. Great stuff. Great stuff as usual. No, I don't know. So we're kind of winding down. You got any holiday plans, Jay? What's going on, my man?
Mother-in-law and father-in-law coming over Christmas Day for dinner. We got new tires for Lightning McQueen because my son burned off the tires on the battery-operated car because he learned how to go it in reverse and then back into drive so he could drift around corners. So we had to buy him new tires. So, yeah, it's going to be a good Christmas. I'm working a little bit tomorrow. But, yeah, back at it. Building, Mike.
Go get it. Go get it. Hey, man, if nobody's building ain't getting done. That's for damn sure, right?
You make hay when the sun shines, Mike.
Absolutely, 100%. And when the sun shines, it brings tears of gold to the world.
Collect them.
See how you can bring it all the way back around, right? Not even setting that up. Like it's like that joke we told on the Mike stream, the algorithm stream, right? The politically incorrect joke that came up about my dog chewing the carpet. Yeah, surely we set the entire thing up just so we could make that joke and just so Jay could bring it all the way back around. There you go. That's what it's all about. Matt has a comment in the chat too. I wanted to read this. He says, "Makes me wonder why we're finding them now and not before." And that's a good question too. The golden tongue situation in Egypt. You would expect that maybe it was more prevalent, right? They've been digging up, mummies forever over there. So I don't know. That's a good question. Definitely.
There's one that I want to bring mention to because you just reminded me of it when I was out there sitting in the snow today waiting for other people to get their poop in a group to hand me what I needed. And I was reading news articles and stuff like that. There were guys like not in the United States, somewhere over Northern Africa, Southern Europe, that discovered winter solstice temple kind of thing yesterday, that hasn't been seen in 2,000 years. And they learned where a new place was, Indiana Jones style, because the sun came through the rocks that they had cut. I don't know. Did you hear anything about that? Was that in the Discord or somewhere else?
I didn't catch that one. I watch a lot of news, like a lot of the news cycles, as you know, but I hadn't seen that one, no.
I don't know. That just the whole gold thing in ancient and all that stuff kind of reminded me about it. That reminded me about the end. Hopefully somebody else will hear about it and post it in the Discord to remind us, but I'm sorry, I don't remember any more than that.
That's all right. It's all good. That's why we do this, right? It's kind of getting it on the record there, and maybe it disappears from the search engines. You never know. That's sort of the thing here. Why part of what we do here. Ronald says Mr. T had a lot of gold. There you go. You know what drives me?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. You know what drives me nuts too? Just as an aside, I'm a baseball fan, right? But it drives me insane when these guys go up to hit. They're like professionally competing, right? Literally, baseball's hard. You get a professional pitcher throwing pitches to you, and it's fucking hard, right? Because the whole point is they're trying to get
90 miles an hour.
Plus, even 100 miles an hour now, and 90-mile-an-hour sliders now. It's crazy. It's gotten crazier. But they go up to bat, right? And they're just like all blinged out in gold and shit, like 3 chains, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, wouldn't that just get in your way swinging a bat? Like, I don't know. Call me old school, but I'm not wearing any chains. I'm not wearing any chains then. So now and then I'll wear, the only jewelry I'll wear is now and then I'll wear my father's dog tags that he had back in the service. I've got my father's dog tags, and my sister's and my brother's, and I was not in the military, but I'll wear theirs, right? But that's it. That's all I wear. Like, again, no rings, no this, no that, no the other thing. It's just, I don't know. Call me simple, call me stupid, call me whatever you want. It's okay. Like I said, regardless
that's fine.
of what it is, I've been called worse. I promise you that. But yeah, let's wrap this up, brother. Wrap this up. God blessing to all of the folks out there. Whatever you think God is or not, or anywhere in between, it's fine by me. Again, we're not trying to. This whole thing is not about any sort of indoctrination process or bending your mind a particular way. Just consider different things. Like, let's talk about all the things. You guys know, if you're still here at this late hour, you already know. So I'm preaching to the choir in a metaphorical sense, not the actual choir, because that would be church. But thank you all for hanging out with us. blessings to every one of you out there, your families, you and yours, because they need us. They need us. They need us to be healthy and happy and strong so we can also help everybody else. It's an important thing. So shout out to Zai. Thanks for all the hard work you've done for Troubled Minds. I'm glad to help. Thank you all the folks that donated to Zai tonight in her fundraiser for her mother who has cancer, who just got diagnosed with cancer. Like I said, put this up one more time and put this out there so people can see. Dropping the link one more time. It's just the thing is, right? Like, life is not guaranteed, and the things that we get ourselves into, whether it be our own doing or whether it be bad luck, whether it be somewhere in between, it's just it's unfortunate. It's but there are a lot of good people out there doing a lot of good things, and hanging out and helping out and trying to take care of the ones that are close to us is always a good thing. And there you go. Jennifer, thank you and them for their service, Mike. I will. I'm the only knucklehead in the family who wasn't in the military, but I'm also the only one in the family who does an alien talk show at night. So, so there you go. There you go. God bless you and the family, Jay, and everybody else out there. Happy holidays. As you know, this is sort of, quote, Friday night for Troubled Minds because we don't do Friday nights. But we will have the news show tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific. I'll add it into the actual Discord events. So if you miss any notifications, that's the reason why we left Facebook, because they just stopped sending out notifications. Discord is still sending them out, and I'll add those events there so you can just get notifications on Facebook on Discord directly. It's a thing. So there you go. So again, this is the time, right? This is the holiday season. This is the thing. It's that whole idea of the dark winter. But it doesn't have to be, does it? It doesn't have to be, Jay.
No, it doesn't at all. My kids and I will remember Zai tomorrow. Prayers before we go to bed.
Thank you. That's very nice. And prayers help as well. Yep. Send your prayers, absolutely, 100%. Appreciate that very much.
Positive energy. If you don't believe in prayers, positive energy works great too.
Whatever it is. Just whatever it is.
If you've got something to send out to help somebody else out in the group, and even if they're not in the group, just if you can help somebody else, that's,
Absolutely. Vicky wants me to put the link in the Discord. I will do that. It's going in the general chat right now, right there, so you can see it. And there you go. The need doesn't end because the show ends. So I'm going to put that in the Discord. It's there for you. Appreciate that, Vicky. Thank you again too. By the way, Daryl, if you're out there listening, the fruit basket and the nice things you got sent from the Troubled Minds community was Vicky spearheaded that entire thing, and Jay here was a big part of that as well. So thank you very much, guys, for caring about each other. It's incredibly important, and to be perfectly honest, it chokes me up, and that's what this is about, right? It's about getting together and being good to each other. Jay, let's wrap this up. Thoughts, holiday stuff, whatever you got, my man. We got time for you. Love to hear.
I am just, not to be politically incorrect, but Merry Christmas, because we're right on it, to everyone out there. And if you don't like Merry Christmas, I wish you whatever it is. It's a season for getting together and sharing and being with the ones that you love, and just have the best time that you can possibly be. I don't know, Mike.
I know it's hard, isn't it? It's hard when people might be listening. You're like, what do I say? It's like, basically, let's say
I don't want to make anybody mad.
Nah, fuck that. Listen. Look, and this is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna say about this political correctness shit. Look, if you're gonna wish somebody blessings and goodwill, and it's going to offend them, that's not your problem. That's their problem. Right? Like how else? Like, okay, so you only take and accept graciously blessings and goodwill if they come in a particular, phrase that you expect? No, sorry. It makes you the asshole. Sorry. Quote me on that. It should be a fucking t-shirt. No, if somebody, right? There's language barriers. There's cultural, there's tons of barriers.
You're not supposed to say God bless you to anybody anymore when they sneeze.
Whatever.
And I'm like, I always say God bless them. God bless, and I call you by name just to make sure God like if you sneeze, God bless Michael Strange.
Right.
God bless Melissa. God bless Josephine. God bless dude.
And the whole point is, if you get mad at a nice notion, sorry, but you're the idiot. That's just the way I see it. It's a nice notion. Even if you don't like the language, it's still a nice notion. Anyway, you got a J-Tro for us, my friend?
I do.
Let's get the F out of here. I'm going to click it so you can hear the music. Wait for the bass to drop because you know the drill. You're getting pro at this, pro of all pros. And we're here with Jay in New York. Thanks, man. Thanks for being you. Thanks for doing you. Thanks for inspiring me every day and being part of this whole thing. It means a lot. And let's roll it. Let's roll it. Wait for the bass to drop. Let's do it. We're playing this. Here we go. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here with Jay in New York. J-Tro coming up. Happy holidays to everybody. If you're mad that I wish happiness for you, sorry, not sorry. Jay, wait for the bass to drop. Here we go.
Please never get tired of being a good person with a good heart. I know it sucks being taken advantage of, and it feels like it's better to be cold-hearted sometimes. But people like you are what give this world hope.
Yes, sir. Who's that by?
I don't know.
Anonymous?
Dumb meme on Pinterest, I think it came from. Well, I got nothing.
All right. I got one for you, too. I promised Daryl a little bit of Margaret Mead, so we're going to do that right now. I'm going to add one to yours. It's Margaret Mead. This one's for Daryl. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And there we go. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thanks for being part of this. Prayers to Zai. Thank you guys for contributing to that. And let's hope that everything works out. And good health, prosperity to each and every one of you. Thank you for spending your time with me. I feel blessed for every second you do. We're out of here. Have a great night, guys. Happy holidays. I can't thank you enough. We're not done. We got more to do. We got more to say. And we're going to keep saying it.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas from New York.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
All right. That's it. Time to let it rip. We got approximately 1 minute and 20 seconds before the music runs out. Go right ahead, guys. Let it rip. Say what you got to say. Do what you got to do. Howl at the moon. Whatever it is.
I can't awoo that long.
That's all right. You don't have to.
Hit it, Daryl.
Well, I was going to say, I was just going to say, like Cyrano de Bergerac said, I would rather be with you people than to be with the finest people in all the world.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
We'll be floating around in the Discord chat throughout the holiday, I'm sure.
Yeah, there you go. So if you guys haven't joined the Discord, usually we hang out afterward, after the shows, and even halfway through the night. So if you haven't done that, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link. If you have any problems in that stops working, the link for whatever reason, email me, troubledmindsradio@gmail. Happy holidays to everybody. Peace and prosperity. You're all the best. We'll see you tomorrow, and have a fantastic weekend and a Merry Christmas. We're out of here.
Be true.
Be strong.
Be sure.
Be brave.
We'll see you guys later.
Backwards.
Well, backwards. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours. Have a great night.
I almost want to say be strange. I don't know why.
All right, be
I
strange.
think that's another show. It's Beyond the Strange.
That works too.
That's what he says.
Be strange.
Be
Dave,
strange.
Dave Cruz is a good guy. All right, I'm killing the stream now. 3, 2, 1. Merry Christmas, everybody. Catch you soon.